Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights.
Hello and welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. My name is TJ. A lot of these things are wrong because I forgot to update them, but we are getting ready for the first round. It is just me, which is why I'm a little bit behind, but we've got everything down, and we've got a sweet matchup coming up in round one. We're going to be kicking things off with Peter, of course, the Jund Master, who did so very well in Vancouver and always puts on a fantastic show with his absolutely gorgeous Jund deck, going up against John, a day 2 contender, again in Vancouver, doing very well. And if I am correct, which I am often not, he is playing Ad Nauseam, I believe. And Ad Nauseam versus Jund, a matchup that has got a little bit more subtlety than first meets the eye. You've got a stellar discard package out of Jund, but sometimes that isn't enough against the huge amount of protection that the Ad Nauseam does, and it can be quite consistent. Jund, I think, has still got a little bit of an edge, but I'm curious to see how well both Peter and John traverse the waters of this matchup. Oh, man. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream. Let's rock and roll, have ourselves a good time, and be amazing as always, because that's what all of you are. I'll see you down there. It's round one. We've got 4 of them here. Let's do it. Alright, so let's get ready. How is my day going so far? You know what? It started fantastic, it dipped a little bit in the middle, and then it has been nothing but incredible since. So, overall, I'd say a great day. Finally got to cop me live Super MTG90. I am so thrilled about that I can't even fully express it to you in words. But thank you for being here. I'm excited to have you here. And hello to everybody in the room, in the world, in the stream. If you haven't yet, hit that follow button. But otherwise, just welcome. Just welcome. It's so good to have you here. It's so very good. Some of you may have caught me doing some commentary again on Monday. Plus, I've been streaming from home, so I've been keeping plenty busy and just having a wonderful time with it. On John's side of the battlefield, we do have both an Angel's Grace, double Angel's Grace, a little bit of redundancy, plus an Ad Nauseam and some lands. Not a whole lot of acceleration in this hand, but does have a sleight of hand. Looks like John might be deciding... Looks like this is going to be enough for him. He's going to kick things off with a sleight of hand. And we're going to put a Spoils of the Vault on the bottom. Take looks what... Wow. The redundancy in this hand. Takes a land. He's got double Ad Nauseam and double Angel's Grace. The combo already in hand, just lacking the mana. Peter, kicking off with a Raging Ravine, means that no hand disruption just yet. Drops down a Simian Spirit Guide. Peter's going to have to play 2 hand disruption spells just to start breaking through the fact that John has got a pretty good combo going. Let's take a look at Ad Nauseam. It is a pretty good card. And looks like a lightning bolt just firing off early on. It's going to knock John down to 17 with Peter falling to 19. Ad Nauseam, of course, with an Angel's Grace, you cast that one first. Great against Jund hand disruption. Having both of your combo pieces is pretty good. It's pretty solid. And it looks like we're still not cruising along. John looking for 2 more sources of mana. Oh, 1 more source of mana, by the look of it. Does have another one in hand. Once he has assembled 6 mana, then what he can do is cast an Angel's Grace, saying that he won't lose the game this turn. It also does have Split Second to prevent him losing in response to that spell. Then he casts the Ad Nauseam. This is going to allow him to draw his entire deck, because again, he can't lose, all except 1 card. Now this Liliana is going to be good for applying pressure. He's going to have to pitch the Simian Spirit Guide, one of these redundant combo pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ad Nauseam hits the bin, but an Angel's Grace might be a consideration because it's got more redundancy in the deck. So the Angel's Grace is a little bit on the nice side because he can draw into something like a Phyrexian Unlife, and it goes a little bit more. So, then when you draw your entire deck, you can exile 3 Simian Spirit Guides or have any extra mana that you have. We did just get a Scry here, so John does have a win next turn if all goes according. Oh, but missing some of that black mana. No, I think the Gemstone Mine in hand is going to do it. I think the Gemstone Mine in hand is enough. So Peter needs to draw a discard spell. If I'm John, man, this is a rough call. I think you got to pitch the Ad Nauseam because it means that if he doesn't have it, you just win on the spot. Peter's pitching a land. We've got 2 mana. If it's a Tarmogoyf, then this looks good. And I think that John just gets to untap and win here. Peter, not enough hand disruption in this matchup. I think John is about to play down his Gemstone Mine, exile his Simian Spirit Guide, and make it happen. Ugh. Man. That is brutal. That is brutal. So, John takes this one down, doing nothing in the game other than 1 sleight of hand up to that point, but makes it happen. Wow, so he's going to draw the entire deck, shortcutting through it because Peter knows what's on the menu. But what John is going to do is basically draw the entirety of his deck, exile 3 Simian Spirit Guides to create red, 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 and then what he's going to do is cast a Lightning Storm. Now, Lightning Storm's a little bit of an interesting card in more ways than one. In one way that it's interesting is because it's killing you, and that usually makes a spell interesting, or at least worth noting. But another big thing about it is that it is, of course, holds the honor of being the only instant or sorcery with an activated ability. The text there is small, so let's read through it together. Again, all together now, Lightning Storm deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is 3 plus the number of charge counters on it. Discard a card, put 2 charge counters on Lightning Storm. You may choose a new target for it. Any player may play this ability, but only if Lightning Storm is on the stack. While this spell is on the stack, it has an activated ability. John is going to discard most, not all, of the lands in his hand to deal lethal damage to Peter. Again, each one of these discarded lands is, I think it puts 2? Put 2. So each one of these lands increases the damage by 2. So with the first land, 5, then 7, then 9, so on and so forth. Obviously, I don't need to repeat that math. Plus, I'm only good in increments of 3. So, you jam that, you make it happen, it's all good. Hello, the Jackal Pup, it's good to see you. How are you today? Alright, and it looks like MTG Bot is back a little bit. And it looks like John is doing the classic sideboard technique of actually bring in all 15 cards and then side out 15. 6 mana, 5 for Ad Nauseam, and 1 for Grace. That is correct. That is correct. But then pitching those Simian Spirit Guides gives you the mana to cast this. Okay. Oof, living the dream every day. Living the dream every single day. So, Peter's going to be on the play, likely upping his hand disruption if he can. Yep, Pact of Negation. This deck is sweet. This deck is very, very cool. Looks to be bringing in a Lingering Souls, which is pretty nice. What's up, Sprout92? I know. You gotta always keep it classy. You gotta always keep it classy. I hope everyone is having a good day. Again, my name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream. Feel free to hit that follow button. And of course, you do have the option, if you have both the means and the inclination, to subscribe and join us in the future. But otherwise, we try and have some fun here, do this a few times a week. We do it 3 times a week currently. We're looking at getting back to 4 times a week. Things are looking to move in that direction, but until then I'll be streaming from home pretty consistently to also fill in those gaps as well, because apparently I'm addicted to this stuff. Plus, I'm starting to gain aspirations of just doing this. I mean, I don't know, I guess. Aspirations. I'm having way too much fun, and I'm loving it. Get these. Actually, we're working on some new ones. Doro, remind me, we need to have a conversation about what other ones we can do. I've got an idea for one, then I just gotta figure it out, and then we need to figure out an idea for the second one. Let's talk soon. USMNT, hello, it's Modern Night. We've got 4 rounds of it, and I am sitting here having a blast. So, Peter, gonna be kicking things off on the play. Hey, Doro. Hi, Doro. It's good to see you. Are you reminding me now? Thanks. It's a Lingering Souls. 1 land also has the Grave Titan. That's 2 land. 2 land, a Lingering Souls, a Pentad Prism. Pentad Prism makes this hand a little bit better. I think John's going to keep this one. This hand gets a little bit worse through some of the hand disruption. If Peter can start capitalizing against any of these lands, anything like a Fulminator Mage, if Peter has got that, is going to be incredible against this hand. So we'll see what happens, but otherwise, if I'm going to hit John with a discard spell, I think I might start off hitting that Pentad Prism. But he's going to pass it back to John. Playing that untapped either means that Peter has got all fast lands, or it means that Peter has got an end-step Lightning Bolt. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fast lands and basics in Peter's hand. Interesting. So, looks like a force coming down, maybe a Dark Confidant, trying to dig deeper into this deck, try and find some of that disruption, but I think we're about to see a Pentad Prism from John. John could also play the land, exile the Simian Spirit Guide, and it looks like actually that's his line of play. Trying to get out this Lingering Souls quickly, and now he's got 2 spirits that he can play again next turn. We'll see if Peter's got anything for that. It's possible he didn't side out his Jun Charm, and in true Peter style, he reveals a Raging Ravine off the top and takes no damage. Daniel from Brazil, it's good to see you. As always, we do have a Pact of Negation, which can't be paid for. John's hand starting to wear a little bit thin. Peter going for the land here. If he had a Dark Confidant last turn, and no hand disruption, I begin to think that this is a Liliana that's coming down to the battlefield. Also going for that basic Swamp reinforces that idea pretty heavily, because I can't imagine keeping this hand without a Liliana or some hand disruption. So a Liliana coming down does start to look pretty solid. The big issue is that it does take damage from these Lingering Souls. Not the worst case scenario. Hello, Karn. It's good to see you. How are you today? So we've got discards, and it looks like John actually drew a second Lingering Souls. That's not too shabby. Looks like he also drew the Ad Nauseam. He has got the full combo in hand, but not a whole lot to do with it. If Peter can find a way to protect this Liliana, this is going to really devastate what John is trying to assemble in hand. But attacking 2 there, we're going to flash it back and get another couple of spirits. If Peter can start assembling a way to answer those, it's going to be pretty great. Or if he's even got something like a backup Liliana, maybe even a Huntmaster. The big thing right now is that John is struggling on mana. That's a big issue with what he's trying to do at the moment. So if Peter can get any kind of way, and it looks like John is actually considering a little bit of a different route, because if he plays out this Pentad Prism, he's actually just going to pass the turn back? That's curious. Taking 2 damage off of this for a Dark Confidant. Oh, it doesn't have the black mana. Oh, that's the storage land, isn't it? That is the storage land. That's a Dreadship Reef. Okay. You are right. I thought that was blue. I thought that was yeah, good call, Renegade Coaster. So a Dredge. Oh, goodness. So this made this hand from John so much worse. Does have the ability to put storage counters on it, and is likely going to be trying to assemble this game plan. So might untap or as Peter passes the turn, John is likely going to put a storage counter onto it. And it looks to be the case. We're going to put down a Tarmogoyf along with plussing this up. These Lingering Souls are presenting close to enough damage to bring it down to 1. This hand still being assaulted by what Peter is doing with this Liliana. It is likely going to survive this turn. He does have a Grave Titan, but he has not got the mana unless he wants to spend the next few turns. Yeah, he just can't, because he needs to decide if he wants to tap like for 2 mana now. He's back to having no black mana. So probably just going to be attacking at this Liliana. And this is just not really where you want to be proactively unless you're getting out another Pentad Prism for 2. And this is going to help assemble some of that other mana, but also means that Peter gets free reign with this Dark Confidant and this Tarmogoyf. This is going to be a pretty sizable hit for 6. John's running out of time, and an Inquisition off the top too. So some of that hand disruption about to be supplemented by this. Interesting. So we could see an Inquisition. And Rap Game Audio, 5 months in a row on the sub. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. You're awesome and amazing. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so very much for being a part of this stream with me. That's a Kolaghan's command to destroy and discard. Ooh, the ultimate dis out of this Kolaghan's command, main phase especially, so that John can't utilize it. This is devastating. A plus to take out the other Pentad Prism, which John thought was redundant, and then Peter Kolaghan's commanding it. Massive. Massive. Will we have any Modern Masters 3 streams? Unlikely. However, at home I'll likely stream it, but Limited is an absolutely abysmal live streaming format. Whew. That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. Plus, it brought that Tarmogoyf up to a 5/6 off of the Liliana discard. Does show a ley line and a land up top. Might just have to go for the land and start hoping for the best. Looks like we're going to bottom both. John's in trouble. John's in pretty significant trouble at this point. It would take something pretty impressive. Does just have the Ad Nauseam. This Liliana is likely going to get rid of the... probably the Grave Titan, just because the Ad Nauseam is more castable. But neither are good. And even the Ad Nauseam is not particularly castable. I don't know. I have a hard time picturing how John digs his way out of this one. Absolutely. The Leyline of Sanctities are a huge way to combat this matchup. Looks like we're going to actually minus... Oh no, we're actually just going to, yeah, we're going to lose the Liliana. It puts the Tarmogoyf up to a 6/7 after that attack. So we've got 8 damage on the field. A Lightning Bolt makes it lethal. Going to use an Inquisition to clear the way. We're going to get to see what we've got. And Peter... if he has the Lightning Bolt, has now got a win on board. What's the foil card? That is a great question. There's a Tarmogoyf, a Dark Confidant, a Black Cleave Cliffs, a basic Forest, a basic Swamp, an Inquisition, a Kolaghan's Command, a Liliana of the Veil, another Dark Confidant, a Raging Ravine. There's a lot of foil cards on the field, but I'm going to assume that you mean that Dark Confidant. And we're going to fall to 3 after this sizable hit. Okay. And we have got a Fetch Shock from Peter. You got it. You got it. You don't get why Liliana is legal in Modern and Jace is not? Ooh. Ooh. They are totally different. Is why. They are totally different. Liliana takes the game over. Jace actually just wins. That's a discussion for another time, though. Shade of Hades, it's good to see you. Another Liliana coming down. We're going to plus it up again. Looking brutal against what John is doing. It's just about time to pick things up from that side of the battlefield. Okay. So, we are going to reveal a basic forest that we discarded. We're going to put another storage counter onto our Dreadship Reef. And John with the draw. It is the Lightning Storm. Cannot cast it. Gonna flashback this Lingering Souls and buy some time. Does have another Lingering Souls in the graveyard, which means that John can continually try and go for that and just keep discarding cards that are not. Man, that's brutal. That is brutal. Brutal. Okay. I suspect that John was trying to get the storage counters. I will say, this is not the place for ban list discussions, so I'm probably not going to get into it. Peter's actually at 9, but the die bumped as he was moving it away. Can attack into this with almost any removal spell as well. This is going to be pretty good. Fritz Van, thank you so much for the follow. It's good to have you here. I appreciate that. Could also just minus the Liliana. No, that would get rid of the tapped ones. I mean, I guess there's actually a world in which John gets this just because strict on jump block mode, but those are not looking too bad. Those are not too bad. So we've got a plus again, and it looks like John might be looking to get rid of the mystery card. And that appears to be the case. The Lightning Storm going away, an Ancient Grudge hitting the bin. Plus this stream, of course. An attack in with the Dark Confidant doesn't seem wise, but only getting one chump block and then putting yourself on a 3-turn clock. And it looks like Peter's willing to offer the trade up. John might almost save one of these Lingering Souls and go to 2, or to go to 1, but that's a pretty dangerous place to put yourself as well. And of course, John can't attack with all of these, but he will likely be flashing back the other one, which means that he can attack for 3 in theory. Could put Peter down to 6. But if John draws lands, then he's going to discard the Ad Nauseam to the Liliana. Looks like we are offering the trade. So, John remains at 3. Peter takes down both of those spirits. There are still 2 on the battlefield from that Lingering Souls. Another Tarmogoyf joining the battlefield. John is going to have to be careful. Peter's likely going to be falling to 7. But in doing so, this is also a land in hand. So John has 2 options. One is actually losing the Ad Nauseam to play this land, which would be tapped, or holding on to it in hand. And it looks like John is making the choice to go for it. This does now mean that his Ad Nauseam is functionally in the graveyard because of this Liliana, with the exception of John can't actually attack with both of these because a Liliana minus would be able to get rid of one of the flashback spirits. I actually don't think that the Dark Confidant needed to stay on the field. Peter's in a hugely dominant position with this Tarmogoyf because John can only attack with one of the spirits. The Liliana, if he attacks with both, the Liliana minus gets rid, or actually any removal. The Liliana minus doesn't do enough there. But between, I guess, Kolgun's command, Lightning Bolt already is a kill. Maybe you do. Maybe you do just go attack with Jam. Because if he has a removal spell, it likely just kills you. In retrospect. You know what? Actually, I like this. I like this, John. It's bold. Get some double blocks going. We are now on an open field. John's basically got to win next turn. Taking a look at that graveyard. Likely going to plus up this Liliana, which is going to get rid of the Ad Nauseam. I don't think that there's much that John can just draw. We're going to reveal Blackcleave Cliffs, get rid of that Ad Nauseam, kick it back. John can deal 2 damage, put Peter down to 5. Drew another Ad Nauseam. Classic. Just what you were looking for. Oh, you're saying John should have left the... Okay, I thought you were saying that Peter should have left his Dark Confidant on the field. Now I see what you're saying. My apologies. The only problem with that line is that you would basically have to attack for 3, put Peter to 6, and then you're dead on the swing back. And like I think that the same thing the math doesn't work out quite well enough to where you can attack enough. It would take Peter hitting basically Huntmaster, and you likely still would have died in that case because he would have gained 2 of it back. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that would be quite enough, but we are going to get a game 3 out of this. Nice part for John is that he now gets to be on the play, which is a much better position to be. Plus, he's got another shot at going for these Leyline of Sanctity, which we did see in the deck post-board. And those Leyline of Sanctities, very good against a lot of that. Now, notably, very little of that was actually done with targeted discard, the Kolaghan's Command being the most notable spell there. But otherwise, the real groundwork of that deck was done with Liliana the Veil, which does not target. So, Liliana carrying a lot of weight in that matchup, but on the draw, significantly less effective. So Peter is still going to be looking for some early removal, which means that if I'm Peter, I'm also looking to have maybe some kind of way to deal with those enchantments, but not a whole lot of those these days when your main interaction is things like Abrupt Decay. So maybe a Maelstrom Pulse would be a decent option, and of course there are things like, what's the name of it? I want to say Artisan Sorrow. One of the ones from Theros, there was a 2-mana one that shuffled away an enchantment. That one might have some validity as well. I don't know if it's the full 4 of in the sideboard. I do not know if it's the 4 of in the sideboard. Dang it, I don't mean Artisan Sorrow. I mean something else, but that's okay. Okay. You bring Back to Nature? Nice. You like 2 Destructive Revelry? Ooh. Interesting. Okay. So, is Lingering Souls normal and ad nauseum? It's often, yeah, it is in this sideboard often. The big thing is that Lingering Souls is so powerful against the things that are brought in against you. Maprakithak, it has been a long time. It's good to see you. Welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. Hello to everybody who's out there. Same to Flipperippa. Welcome. To all of you out here. That is okay. I will say you can either watch this stream. You can also, on all the days that this isn't streaming, probably catch me streaming from home these days. I did start a home stream, which has been a wonderfully delightful time, having a lot of fun with that one. And I'll be doing a stream tomorrow as well, almost certainly, talking about some insights that I had recently. You just bought a house. Congratulations. That is fantastic. Congratulations. That is just awesome and incredible, and I hope that it's beautiful and great, and I hope you're great. Stay awesome. Stay amazing. The Ad Nauseam mirror match is bonkers to play. Yes, it is. Oh, thanks, Maprakithak. I appreciate that. You've also seen Elspeth Sun Champion? Yes, and I believe that in that slot, John is currently running the Titan, the Grave Titan. What's up, Glorious Visionary? It's good to see you. It's so wonderful to have you all here. So, looks like we've got a couple of lands, Double Ad Nauseam, Lotus Petal, but we are still missing the ley line here. Is this hand good enough? Double Ad Nauseam, a Lotus Bloom, a Pentad Prism, a Lightning Storm. But the Lightning Storm in the least likely place that you want it. That is the worst possible place for John to have this Lightning Storm, because then Disruption actually works against it pretty positively, and John's going to actually have to shuffle it away, because that means that then his only way to go off is with a Laboratory Maniac, or there are some other options if John is running the backup, either Conflagrate or secondary Leyline in the hand. But it looks like he is going to mull that one away. So I have seen some of these running a Conflagrate in their main or in their sideboard. Okay. Nope. I tend to avoid ban conversations, but right now, I will just say I do not think there will be any bans or unbans, and I hope that there are no bans or unbans. Yeah. I can speak to my reasons, but this isn't the place, because I'm on a higher stage. Farron, MTG, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. So, the ley line comes down. We also do get a temple. Now it's a matter of seeing how is John's hand otherwise. Double land, a Pact of Negation, and a Sleight of Hand. So, we've got another temple coming down. We're going to scry just a little bit. We drew another Sleight of Hand. This is incredible. This is about as good as it's going to get for you. The big thing is that John's hand is currently slow. He does have a lot of options for finding the pieces that he needs in these. We're going to find an Angel's Grace. Probably going to take that. Could take the land, and it looks like actually he is going to go for the land. He is pretty confident in his ability to go off through this. Oh no, it's because he has one in hand. Never mind. I knew that. It's very possible that John wins, but there's also a very distinct possibility that Peter untaps and goes for a Maelstrom Pulse here, or a Liliana is still pretty powerful. Looks like we do have a tapped, and we're just going to pass it back. Peter may have kept a hand with tons of disruption and not a whole lot to do against this deck. Some Fulminator Mages would be particularly choice. John now has the combo assembled and just needs 2 more mana. I wouldn't be surprised if he exiles this Lotus Bloom to just give him a win in 3 turns. Except if he plays a Lily, I don't think he has the option of countering, but also doesn't have the double black at the moment. Interesting. It's another land tapped, and we're going to pass it back. That's a Spoils of the Vault as well. Peter has just hit nothing. Wow. That is brutal. That is just brutal. Man, and this can go off at instant speed, so Peter, not even something like an Ancient Grudge is good enough against this Lotus Bloom, because once it's in play, John would still be able to fire off both the Ad Nauseam and the Angel's Grace in response to the Ancient Grudge, using that Lotus Bloom for mana. So even the upkeep is not enough. Can we see Peter's keep? Well, apparently not, because we cannot. Looks like we're just going to go for the B-E aggressive. Draws the Lightning Storm. Got Lightning Bolts. It's got to be nothing but bolts and discard. Wow. So John looks like he's going to take this one down in 3, because next turn he's got the option to go off. This was a devastating Leyline of Sanctity here in Game 3. And it's a card that you had to see coming as a possibility. He's going to fetch now. Looks like he's trying to assemble a little bit more min at the moment, but I just don't think that there's enough going on. Wow. Maybe there's a world in which John gets greedy and tries going for... Leyline is a pretty good card when all you're worried about is discard. Let's show the combo. And that should do it. Yep. Wow. Just brutal. Just brutal. So John takes that one down in 3. Slight upset, but definitely had the right tools for it. In Game 1, just didn't get punished by as much removal as one would normally disruption. Game 2 got annihilated by Liliana, and in Game 3 came back with a Leyline, protected his game plan, and enacted the game plan. Was almost untouched except by a Raging Ravine at that point. Wow. Alright, well, let's head on up to the booth and let's see if we can get us another match. I will see you there. Colberticus with the sub. Thank you so very much. 4 months in a row, and a howdy. Howdy to you as well. Can we get some hype in chat? I'll see you up there. Hello everybody, and thank you for joining. My name's TJ. I'm streaming out of Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Thank you so much for the support, Colberticus. I very, very, very much appreciate it. It's awesome to have you here. Pretty sure John and Peter know each other? They in fact do. They in fact do. So, what a way to go. And let's see about getting another feature match on that table, because I do not really have, well, I'm not out there, and I don't have a co-host tonight. So we're going to see what we can do. But as a special treat, I do happen to know there are some Death Shadow decks, or at least there is one Death Shadow deck out in the room, and I'm certainly hoping to get it up on the camera today. What's next? Well, let's find out together. We never know until we know. Let's see here. And let's request some backups. And see. How is it going? It is going well. Oh, look.
No games in between, so give me a minute.
Alright, I just sent you a message. Oh, at any time tonight, I'd like to get Harry on camera if possible.
Oh, sure.
Cool, thank you. What's up, Zach? Good to see you, Zach Canner MTG. Everybody take a moment, follow that stream. He is another member of the Rogues Gallery, plus has had some very notable performances in the Star City circuit. So welcome, everybody who is watching Zach's stream. My name is TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream. We have a good amount of fun here playing Modern tonight. 4 rounds of it in the middle of round 1 and waiting to get a backup match for you. Any goblins out there in Modern? I think it is unlikely. There's likely some red deck wins. I know that there's a burn out in the field, but goblins itself a little bit well, not great in Modern. And of course this is Modern, and goblins is explosive and powerful, and I'm not just trying to say that the deck is bad, but it's also not wildly popular, which means that it won't always be in the room. I'm not sure if we have any consistent goblins players in the area. Certainly that has the capacity to either change or just be wrong in general. What's next? Working on that one. Let's try and get something soon. Put Joe on screen if he's there. Joe has not been here in a long time. His work schedule took a shift, and he has had a pretty difficult time making it out here. You want to watch Grixis or Nightfall? Both of them potentially in the room. Grixis likely in the room. Both of them are fun. Let's see if I can't find more fiery combos like eggs. We do occasionally have eggs out in the room, and Storm I think is. I know that Titan Shift is out there. Tonight your blue-white mid-range took down Death Shadow. Very, very nice. Is it close to Daniela's deck? Because that is a pretty sweet one. Any Tron out there? Occasionally. It depends on what some of the players who have a little bit of modality in what they're playing. There's one player who can play Kiki Chord, Tron, or one other deck that I'm spacing out on at the moment. It depends a little bit on what they are playing tonight. Is there any Death in Texas? I believe Hate Bears might be in the room. We'll see if we can get them on camera as well. But hello, Wally TCW. It's good to see you. Is Monday Night Standard with over with? It's not over with. It is currently on hold. It is likely coming back soon if I can. I'm trying to get back to that point, but currently it was just at a point to where Standard was pretty lackluster. It's picking back up, and if we can, we will. So it is getting better. It is starting to get back up to that level, and if it does, then I'll do my best to get those Mondays back. Until then, I have been streaming from home, if that is a reasonable substitute for you. It is not live magic, it's Modo, but I try and have a pretty good time playing there. Drewski Brew, it is my absolute pleasure, and of course you can find me at twitch.tv/RedBaronMTG. Basically, if it's not a night in which Geek Fortress is streaming, you can probably assume that I am. Most nights. Yeah, so I stream a lot, as it turns out. Okay, you bruised up a spicy Sultai mechanized production deck in Standard. Woo! I dig it. I dig it indeed. You recommend my TJ stream if you're a Burn player? True. I'm trying to dive into some other things as well. If I can play other things, I will. I will be trying to dive into other things. I just do really enjoy Burn. Walking Ballistin, 6 words. Man, that card is so good. That's 6 words. Or if you like watching TJ do things, it's true. I dance, I wear hats, I draft occasionally. I intend to draft a lot of Modern Masters. You just appreciate anything red? Right. When can we see Red Baron playing MTG next? Tomorrow. I will be playing tomorrow. I will be having an interesting stream, hopefully. Is Coma still playing the Intrude Alarm? I actually don't know. But I'll be having an interesting stream. It's not going to be wildly unusual by any sense, but I had a little bit of a revelation last night while reading a brand new book that I've been reading, and I realized that there's been a little bit of a shift in my mentality while playing, and the intent of tomorrow's stream is to shift it back to where I want it to be. And so we will be talking a little bit up tomorrow and spending a little bit of time, hopefully, talking about kind of what happened and how to hopefully avoid it, or at least kind of talking about that shift in mentality and where I hope to go moving forward. Jumi, I appreciate that. But hey, I've been doing a little bit of draft. I drafted yesterday, and I've been playing Scred. And I'm trying to play other stuff when I can. If people have requests for decks, tweet them at me at RedBaronMTG. If it's something that catches my interest, there is a reasonable chance that I can actually get the cards for it. But with, please tell me I draft mono red. I do. Yesterday I didn't. I explicitly didn't force red, but I ended up almost mono red. But they were just the best cards in the packs at that time. But previously I absolutely did force red, and it was a lot of fun. If I play Legacy Goblins, I play Legacy Burn. What kind of shift in mentality? Talk to me tomorrow. Talk to me tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. But, Honesty Dragon, I'm trying to, you know what, I guess as a little bit, basically there's a change in mentality from playing to, I guess, short-term and long-term thinking in the game. And anytime that you have a game with as much variance as Magic, there will be highs and there will be lows. And I think once you extend your range of vision to this longer term, and I'm going to dive a little bit more in depth, hopefully tomorrow. It depends on if I can come up with the words for it, because I'm really just winging it. Extending that vision to more of a long-term perspective, then you can really kind of change how you go about things. And yes, that's the hope. Is Scred good in the recent format? I did not do well with it, but I still remain of the mentality that I think it's actually in a pretty good position right now. It was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. Oh, it was so much funny. It was funny. I messed up a lot though. Anything? Could you look? Is there anything out? We're about to finish round 1. Cool. Apparently round 1 is about to end, so we should be getting another match for you. Thank you. You're awesome too. Where do I want to be? I've been also thinking about that lately. I've also been thinking about that a lot lately. I know that I've mentioned it before, but I'm starting to wonder if I can ever actually do this on like a larger scale with like Star City or Wizards. It's starting to lurk into my mind as a possibility. So I don't know. I'm kind of... ooh, are you Orinel? I might be able to... There we go. The Alpha XY! It's good to see you. You're never leaving. Please don't. It's good to have you. You're amazing. It is incredible to have you here. Oh, goodness. Thank you for the support. That's 3 months in a row and you're never leaving. I'm glad to hear it. Orinel, send me a list. I would love to see what I can. See, and I appreciate the positive feedback from all of you, and I genuinely do. And all of you are the reason why. All of you are the exact reason why I even think that I can, or that that's a possibility in my world. Let's get to next round first.
I have next round for you.
I believe you.
Do you?
No.
Oh.
What's
Well,
up?
too bad it's here.
What's up?
You've got Chance facing the wall. And Harry on the other side.
Oh, how good. Tell me it's Bushwhacker.
No. It is the Bernie McBurnersons.
Ooh, is he on Naya?
No.
Interesting. Okay, I know the other deck.
Yes, you do.
Oh, man. Have we got a treat for you all? Have we got a treat for you all? Newmont got there? I mean, that's true. But you were all the reason why the... no, Doro, you're actually a huge part of the reason. Last night's stream was fun. Last night's stream was a lot of fun. I had a good time. Playing against Mono Bleachron was a treat. So what do we want to... Let's just do the Tarmogoyf because unfortunately our database won't show Death Shadow. But we've got Shadow Jund versus Burn, everybody. And I am excited about it. So, but thank you everybody for the kind words. Again, that's entirely why I think that that's even a possibility, is because of your continued support. The next thing is that unfortunately, and I mean this in the nicest way, but you are all not the people that I need to convince. Let's head on down. I'll see you there. So, these players lining up on the field. While I was gone, they broke the stream. I know, but I fixed it. Where do you send your list? You don't have Twitter? Tweet it, or whisper it. Whisper it to the account Red Baron MTG on Twitch. So there will be a little chat box at the bottom, or you can create a new one. Red Baron MTG. It'll have my face, and it'll be great. So this matchup is actually pretty interesting because Harry has a couple of ways to go about this, right? Slow hands. I'll talk about this between games. But actually, that's a fun question. So if Harry's got a Death Shadow hand, what he can, you got it, Melvin. You got it. You gotta help him up it out. Man, Melvin, you're so great. You're so great. If he's got a Death Shadow hand, it becomes interesting to where he almost wants to just leverage all of his discard spells first, and there's upwards of 13, potentially 11 to 13 discard spells in this deck between Kologun's Command, Collective Brutality, Liliana of the Veil, Thoughtseize, and Inquisition. But between all of those is going to have kind of a way to really disable Chance's hand. And then you play down the Death Shadow and hope to just beat the top decks, right? That's one way that you can kind of go about this matchup. And already being at 14 might lead that mentality. Now, of course, you could also just go for a bunch of Mishra's Baubles, Tarfires, remove the creatures, and put down a Tarmogoyf. That's also not bad. But this looks like a double Rift Bolt. Appears to not have the second land yet, and a Tarfire coming down. This screams I've got a Tarmogoyf going for that red source and green source as well, which means that if this comes down, this is already going to be quite sizable. We've got land, sorcery, instant, tribal. This is going to be a 4-5 to start things off if he does have this. Otherwise, actually, a Mishra's Bauble does put him into Traverse territory. He could fetch shock Mishra's Bauble and actually put down a reasonably sized Death Shadow. And that'd be a 2-2. That's not quite good enough. Does Deflecting Palm ever get played in Boros Burn? Yes, it should be a 2 to 3 of in every sideboard. Thoughts on Batterskull over Sarkhan or Stormbreath in Skred? I'm a big fan of it. I could probably be convinced otherwise, but I really do like the Batterskull. It's got a lot of utility by moving over to other things. It grinds particularly well. It has a nice little bit of synergy with Piankir and Nalar if you ever need it. It suits up on Thopters and Stormbreath Dragons quite well, and it can help out any of your aggro matchups in a pretty spectacular fashion. A Riftbolt pointing towards Harry. It's going to put him down to 10 after that fetch. Put him down to 13. Does have a 4/5 Tarmogoyf, which isn't dying just yet. Chance with the Sacred Foundry. Going to go for a Lava Spike. This appears to be the one-drop hand. Now it is just a race. Harry has got the capacity through his own discard to maybe disable this hand a little bit. Seen any new deck lists in this tourney? Not quite yet. We saw Jund versus Ad Nauseam. Now we've got Shadow Jund versus Boros Burn. So far a little bit on the regular side, though Shadow Jund, I believe, making one of its first appearances here at the store. Thank you very, very much. So, the burn hand a little bit, I don't know. I've seen people keep one-landers and burn, and it certainly works out sometimes. Personally, I'm a huge advocate for not keeping one-landers. Of course, on my stream, I've ignored that rule once or twice for the sake of entertainment, and usually I end up regretting it. Is holding Riftbolts against Shadow a legit strategy? Kind of. Actually, it depends on your hand. This is not the hand in which that is your legit strategy, especially not knowing what Harry was on. He had already kind of committed to that game plan. But there is very much a way that Burn can kind of play around this, is to try to apply a little bit of pressure with creatures, and then holding on to some of those instants or those Rift Bolts, fire those off when they're at about that 10 range, right? Their Death Shadows are still kind of small, maybe that 12, and then untap on your turn, fire off both of those Rift Bolts, and then just unleash a volley from your hand as well. So sometimes what the Burn deck tries to do, if they don't have all those removal spells, those discard spells, is actually try and build up a critical mass of Burn spells between the instants and the sorceries to fire them off in a rapid succession, because if you're going for it as you draw it, those Tarmogoyfs will continually grow and it'll get pretty difficult for you. Okay. So, let me see if it got to me. I did. I got your link. Thank you very much. If you have a creature and a bolt and rifts, it's okay. I agree. But Chains has also not been playing this deck a huge amount of time. I will say that that any and all criticisms of the player should be said in a positive way. They do us a favor by being on camera, and also the reality of this stream is that it is out of a local game store for weekly tournaments. Our players will not always play perfectly, and in fact, they very rarely will. In the 100% category, and any kind of feedback should be done in a way that helps them encourage them as players and help develop them as players, because getting better should always be the goal, and it's at the end of the day, it's all a game. And that's more of just a general statement to the field. But sitting at 5, we do have a Death Shadow, which is now extremely sizable at an 8/8, Chance falling down to 11 without having all the burn in hand, going to fall to a lethal life total. Chance, having fired off so many 1-mana spells already, might be in a dangerous position. I know you're not. It's a general statement. It is a general statement for all. Viewbot, it's always good to see you. It is always so good to see you. So we are going to go for the fetch. We're going to fall to 11. This has to be killed. Maybe a Helix? A Helix going back up to 13. But you have to wait until after you take the damage, and that's still a lot. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, if this is a pass with a Helix, Chance might fall to 1 and try to draw the 1 burn spell. Otherwise, it's got to be a double burn spell, and Chance, I think, would have fired it off already. It's mostly that the deck hadn't been fully assembled, and it's actually still being worked out. But basically, this is just an evolution of the Jund deck more than it is an evolution of the Death Shadow deck. And I think a huge part of it is that, and we are going to fire off a Collective Brutality. We're going to drain some life, or not drain some life. We're just going to rip that out of the field and swing for lethal, because that's a better play. It's mostly to, yeah, it's the deck's phenomenal. It's got a lot of these really small synergies between together, and I think it just took a good amount of time to tune. There were a couple of online players back in December, actually, before the bans were even announced, that started putting it together, and it's been slowly developing a following, and of course, at the most recent GP weekend, just exploded in its performance. I mean, just rocked it. And yeah, just absolutely devastated the field. It's in a pretty good position. No one saw it coming. I think it was a good meta for it because it had, I mean, having 13 discard spells is really good in a format which I think had a good amount of kind of ramp and had a good amount of combo, which we saw it that kind of weekend. And that's not to say that it's not a good deck on its own. I still think that currently it's the deck to beat, but it's quite good. What beats Death Shadow? Usually decks with actually a lot of interaction can. A high density of interaction does look really good. Their Jund matchup is not incredible. Ends up helping out a lot. Also, Blue-White Control has got a pretty stellar matchup against them because they can beat all of that, a good amount of that discard. What are my thoughts on Assault Loam? Destus, I honestly don't know a whole lot about the deck in like the recent era. I'd be curious to see a list, though, if you ever want to send one to me on Twitter, and I'd happily talk about it a bit. But I honestly can't speak to it very well, and I don't want to give you opinions that are wrong, but just Loam itself is a sweet card, so I've got that to offer. Okay. Shadow just feels like the sort of amazing thing. I mean, the list is brilliant. The list is brilliant. Okay, so what else have we got? Sorry, trying to catch up with chat right now. Shadow scoops to rest in peace. I don't think it scoops to rest in peace, but you were all actually pretty correct in that the Traverse the Ulvenwald actually is probably one of the more key pieces of this deck. It's only running really 8 creatures if you want to get into it. Have we ever thought about running a Team Modern event at our store? Honestly, we haven't. At least not to my knowledge. I don't think that the store is big enough to run a Team Modern event. Unless it was like a pretty small one. But I would I mean, I'd be down for it. I would play it all day. But, and I'm actually going to be at the Team Modern GP. I'll be at San Antonio at the end of the month. But it was on Green Red Tron, had 3 Groves on the board. Opponent had 2 Death Shadow. Nice. That is excellent, the Alpha XY. That is sweet. That is pretty solid. Okay. I imagine so. That sounds awesome. That sounds very cool. I'm excited about San Antonio. I still haven't figured out what deck that I'm going to play, but I am excited about it. I also would love to play in that that Legacy Standard Modern format. I would also absolutely love that one. Okay. I actually don't. We're not 100% what our team is on yet, so I actually can't answer that. And I'm actually the one who's being difficult about it. They both have decks that they have, like, they keep trying to give me, like, constraints, and I keep trying to break them. I keep trying to break them because I haven't decided yet. I'm being a problem maker, and if they show up in chat, they're going to call me out on it. So Chance is kicking things off with a fetch. I would play Modern. I see sounds. I would play Modern. The card that beats Death Shadow, Leyline of Sanctity, is pretty dang good. The deck runs a huge amount of discard. Being able to disable that is a pretty big deal. But I don't know. Fun fact, Life is Bowling. Those are only 2 of the decks that I'm considering. That was also a consideration, Wavelink 17. I was very heavily considering Wavelength, but after talking with Zach Elsick a little bit, he convinced me that I shouldn't because of the time factor in a team event when they're going to be talking to their opponents a lot. I likely wouldn't be able to win in time because they'd be distracted in that one, and you can't even get upset about that because it's a team event. So, a Goblin Guide getting in. We do see a Mishra's Bauble. Harry's going to fetch, doesn't need the Bauble, indicating that either he's got one in hand, possibly also just has the Tarmogoyf, or he's got something that he wants to do with a full 4 Fatal Push in the 75, likely. Might just be firing off a Fatal Push. And it looks to be the case. So Harry does fall to 14 after this Lightning Bolt. I think he did forget to attack turn 1. Yes. That is a Goblin Guide. That is actually the GP promo Goblin Guide. Okay. So, have I looked at the... I have not. Negation. I have not looked at it at all. I'm aware of it. I know Hooglin plays it. Boros Charm, Lightning Bolt, or Deflecting Ball without a whole lot to do yet. I actually don't mind taking out the... I actually kind of liked taking out the Lightning Bolt unless he's got a pretty limited amount of discard in this deck. Though going down to 10 is somewhat problematic, I like being able to shut off their ability to curve out. My thoughts on the Modern Masters 17 guide? I think it's sweet. I'm actually a fan. So, we do have a Death Shadow being found off of this Traverse with a sorcery entering the battlefield. We also do have a Street Wraith, which went to the graveyard, putting him down to 10, also getting a creature into the graveyard. So instant sorcery, creature, and land in there. The Traverse gets a Death Shadow with Harry at 17, starting to look pretty solid. We know about a Lightning Bolt and a Boros Charm in hand. A Helix firing off here. It is very unlikely that Harry is going to be in a good position here unless he's got just nothing but discard in hand. This is a real bad spot to be in if you're Harry. I think Harry's hand was just a little bit too slow here. You have to have Delirium before the Traverse hits the graveyard. That is correct, Seedborn Muse. That is correct. People should start running Devour Flesh? Maybe. I actually prefer them running Condemn. I think Condemn is just brilliant. So, I actually do agree, Darkblade. 84. I actually probably wouldn't have cast anything. Harry's already fully aware of everything in the hand, but I may have just tried to save it up just in case. Fired that off at the end step, but I believe has lethal anyway in hand, has that Boros Charm which is revealed, and it looks like Ventura031, thank you so much for the follow. Hey Harry, what was that? Cool. It's been a while since I've seen an Imp's Mischief. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Are there any Legacy Elves players? Yes, there are, Chillith, actually. Coleman is a Legacy Elves player. Nymphany Axe, thank you so much for the sub. That's 6 months in a row. I love it. I appreciate it. You're awesome and the best and all kinds of amazing. Thank you for your support and being so cool all the time. Thank you for Genrad64 for hitting that follow button as well. Welcome to the Geek Fortress community. It's incredible to have you all here. It's just exciting to have you all here. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this stream. Oh, it's so exciting that I get to do this, you know? I know I say this a lot, but thank you, everybody. All of you watching right now, to all 260 of you who watch this stream, who come hang out on my stream, who just, like, who generate such a phenomenal community. It's just good having you. Garuk, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, what's up, DeBoy Blake? It's good to see you. Met at GP Vancouver. La da 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 boom. No room for that. Oh no, mods don't get credit for my work. Mods don't get credit for my work. That was me. Wanted to give him a chance. Ah, goodness. Blazing Gunner, it's good to see you. Welcome. Thank you so much for the sub. Oh, thank you so very much. Miot4, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Ah, goodness gracious. Can we ban Fighting Falcon? We did. We did. That was Imp's Mischief. Life is Bowling. I wanted to give the mods a chance to get after it, but I think all the mods left. Oh, man. So, possibly they did. A sidebar. Said okay. It's good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back, my friend, my companion. My goodness. Thank you, everybody, for the subs. It is incredible, getting us up to 146. Big Ump, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. It's good to see you. That'd be great. Oh, man. So, let's... it's all good. It's all good. But thank you, everybody, for getting us up to 146 subscribers. I think, and we're going to kick things off, starting off at 18 off of Street Wraith. Then we're going to fire off a Mishra's Bauble. Haven't cracked it yet. Maybe waiting to draw in to see what we can find there. And maybe take a look at the top of the deck. But we'll see where this ends up pointing. I'm a little bit surprised at the weight. Maybe just waiting to hit the top of the deck there. Still does not seem to be the case. So, let's see. And we're going to fire this off. Take a look at Chance's deck. We do not get to see what that is. But... what else do we have? You see a $50 uncommon. True. True. Basic Swamp in hand. They do run just a Basic Swamp and a Basic Forest. Helps out a little bit against Blood Moon if it really needs to. That is a Lava Spike. Looks to be low on the creature count. Do have more lands. Looks like a turn 2 Eidolon. Icy Sound, thank you so much for the sub. That is incredible. I appreciate the support. That appears to be a brand new subscriber. That's 147. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to take that Eidolon, which was likely the reason why Chance kept this hand in the first place, because he did have the turn 2 creature. So, that hand was great. I would absolutely keep that hand. Turn 2, I would keep a turn 2 Eidolon. Likely fetching up a basic here. I don't think that we brought in the Mishra's Baubles. Keeps the life total a little bit safe. And let's see if we drew into something that we like. Let's see if we drew into something that we enjoy. So, with these lightning bolts coming on down. Oh, I see sound. I do appreciate that. If you ever... oh no! No! That is brutal. That is brutal. Oh, Collective Brutality is so good. Looks like it was a Goblin Guide that came down. Man, but you can, of course, support the store at geekfortressgames.com. Always all kinds of cool things happening there. We're going to discard and go for the full mode. Ripping a card out of that hand, killing a creature, draining for 2. Oh man, I made that 2016 instead of 16. My bad. And Harry's going to go up to 8. Likely leave the path in that hand. My bad. And a Swiss Spear comes down, knocks Harry down to 7, but now we have full information about what's going on in this hand. A Death Shadow coming down, the Path to Exile likely coming in at it. Doesn't appear like it might be the case. Thank you, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So we do have a massive blocker in the way. Chance going for the end step, might go for the path. It appears like that is the case. A little bit surprised. Chance actually could have waited until his turn, taken the prowess trigger, and then with something like a Boros Charm, right? Boros Charm would actually make it. Oh no, it'd still be a little bit shy. But still, I actually would have liked Chance to hold off a little bit there for the prowess trigger. Could have put Harry down to 5 as opposed to the 6, if that isn't a burn spell right here. Why didn't he take path? Because there was a Helix in hand, and Harry would much rather have a creature pathed than die. Tarmogoyf coming down to the battlefield. We do have Artifact, we've got Instant, we've got Sorcery, we've got Creature and Land. I believe we've got a 5/6 Enchantment, maybe a 6/7. That is going to be pretty sizable. A land coming down here for Chance. Looks like he is trying to thin the deck out a little bit, falling down to 12 seems to be the mentality. If you are going to do this, as a fun fact, if you kept in your Searing Blazes, do it at your upkeep. That way, it's not in the deck for your draw step. Again, it's super irrelevant, or at least almost irrelevant, but if you're going to do it, make it to where you can still at least get an active Searing Blaze. Chance is going to kick it back, and a Fatal Push is going to take down this Monastery Swiss Spear. Otherwise, we're going to fire off into this field. We're going to knock down to 6. Another reason why that fetch was unfortunate is that it does mean that this is a... no, I guess it was a 2-turn clock. Either way, Chance draws a land, offers the hand. Harry takes it down in 3 with this one, nicely utilizing all those discards. That Collective Brutality was just insane in that game 3, and a massive Death Shadow coming on down to the field, also being able to take down... yeah, overall, everything went well there for Harry. Goodness gracious. Let's head back up to the booth and see if there is not a backup match for us all here in round 2. I'm going to see if Harry is willing to do a little bit of scouting for us. I'll see you out there. Ah, wrong button. Transition first.
Apologize to the stream for messing up my traverse play turn 1.
That's okay.
Game 1. I knew instantly, and I had already taken the damage, and I was just like, ugh.
Life
Too late.
Life happens.
First time playing the deck.
First time playing the deck. Searing Blaze, is it good in this matchup? I don't like it, but it's a matter of can you take it out enough. Like, if you don't have enough to bring in, then it becomes a little bit difficult, right? Did I enjoy your list? I haven't had the chance to look at it. I do have it here. I will take a look at it, see if I can put it together. We'll talk a little bit about it. Maybe I can try and play that one on stream. To support some more, you're buying into Legacy Goblins when you get money to pay. Ooh, thank you so much, Icy Sound. I appreciate that. You are great, and I hope that those sounds are pleasant and lilting and filled with all sorts of excitement and possibly some sort of jazz music, because that's always exciting, and I imagine it looks delightful. Collective Brutality is good. Collective Brutality is just insane. That card is bonkers. It's so good. From the moment it was spoiled as a burn pilot, I was terrified. That card's great. It should be played more than it is. You think keeping a hand that hinges on one card is great in the matchup against Shadow Jund? Yes. That is true. They have got a huge amount of discard. But that is okay Dokie. So we're going to try and find another matchup here in round 2. Harry's on the case, taking a look out there, seeing if anybody's moving into a game 2 or a game 3. You can never quite tell depending on what the people are playing, but we've got 4 rounds of that super sweet modern format happening today. In fact, you can see in the most recent Todd Stevens article where he claims that it is in fact one of the greatest formats, and I actually have to agree. Grumpy Kale, thank you so very much. That's 3 months in a row. Find that matchup. We're gonna make it happen. Thank you so much for your continued support. You're great and awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you for what you do for the stream. Thank you for being a part of this stream. Ooh, love it. Absolutely love it. Look at that chat hype. You know what? I'm going to get in on this a little bit myself. I'm going to toss in a little bit of that Cole Maniac. Everybody loves a bit of the Cole Maniac. It's what you want to put everywhere.
Alright, I got Vince and Sean going on.
You've got Vince?
Affinity versus the mono white. I don't
Right.
even know what to call it.
So, what side is Sean on?
What?
What side is Sean on?
I don't know. Sean is
Got it.
door side and Vince is wall side.
And what game are they going to?
You guys going to game 3? Game 3? Yeah, so 1-1.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we've got Mono White Devotion versus Affinity heading into game 3. Vince versus Sean. And let's see what we can do. The Elish Norton deck. Let's see here. People say that Burn is not favored against Shadow Jund. I have to agree. I think Shadow Jund is actually favored. They've got a massive amount of discard in that matchup. I think the matchup is slightly in their favor. Let's see here. What do I think? Sunday of Nothing. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you here. What do I think of the red-green Ponza deck in Modern? Is it F&M competitive? Absolutely, it's F&M competitive. I got annihilated by it on stream the other day. Bookfair with the sub. Thank you so very much. That is amazing and awesome. I appreciate your support. Thank you for who you are. Let's get ready to head down to this game 3. It's going to be incredible. TJ Kamigo Block Tiny Leaders Popper is actually the best format. My bad, Moonsand. Totally forgot about that one. That one's clearly better. But thank you so much for the sub. That is awesome. The Ponza deck, sweet. Your friends may not like it. Your friends will hate this list. You won't believe number 3. We'll see you there. So, we are taking a look at the opening 7 in this Game 3. Mono White Devotion versus Affinity. We've got Affinity, the blazing fast, aggressive deck. Plus, on Vince's side of the battlefield, we've got Hate, the deck. It is running some main deck Wrath of God, which could be effective in this matchup. It is running a good amount of things that might be pretty solid overall. I do quite enjoy it. Do I remember that time? Yeah, I do remember that time. Garuk, yes, there is a lot of it. It's actually Kobe. Oh, nice. Okay, sounds good. Sunday of Nothing. I imagine that you stream on Sundays now that I believe in it. But we've got some spicy decks coming at you. The Mono White Devotion likely running some number of Pithing Needle. Could be running some number of Stony Silence. Could be running some number of Blessed Alliance. Actually does not seem too bad in this matchup either. It has both life gain, ways to untap, to have surprise things. It's got a lot of first strike. It does have the ability to tax the go wide strategy with Archangel of Tithes, which is, I know, an unusual strategy. Plus, this deck, with its Mono White Devotion game plan, can always just actually cast an Elish Norn, which is a 1-of in the deck. Also running a couple of Baneslayer Angels. So, this deck a little bit stronger against flying game plans than most modern decks, but they are all slow options. And depending on who's on the play, if Sean is on the play, then this does look to be a potentially favorable way to go about this. Mostly needs to worry about the turn 2 Stony Silence out of Vince's deck, either on the play or on the draw. But Sean looks to be on the play, kicking things off with an Ornithopter, a land, though I would have preferred to see those played in the other direction, even though it doesn't actually matter. Blink Moth probably for a Springleaf Drone, and it looks like it's actually a Signal Pest, dropping in a Mox Opal, and passing the turn back. Could be holding on to an Edge Champion in hand, which would end up pretty solid. How many matches are left for the night? We've got 4 rounds tonight. We're currently in round 2, so we will be having a good amount more. Marquee. Vince puts down just a Lonely Plains and appears to be kicking it back. Sean drops down an Inkmoth Nexus. And let's see if we do have a powerful 3-drop to join this field. Looks to be a 2-drop, possibly a Steel Overseer. I'd like to see that post-combat if it is. Arcbound Ravager, great one to play pre-combat because it can play around some of the removal that Vince may have fired off anyway. So, it looks like it's an attack for 1. Vince going to fall to 19. Now, if this is a Stony Silence, remember to sacrifice your Mox Opals, but otherwise, this hand is quite resilient to it. This looks 100% like a Stony Silence. Nope, it's a Thalia. That's actually okay. Okay, so a Thalia coming down. None of this board really truly affected by this except for the Arcbound Ravager, but not quite where you want to be, especially against the Affinity deck. The biggest thing it affects is a Cranial Plating at this point. Mono White Devotion? Yes, it's not a super common deck. What's up, JD Church? It's good to see you. So, looks like we're going to activate this Mox Opal, maybe go for a Galvanic Blast and then cast some other stuff by the look of it, or a backup Signal Pest. Very nice. Could be activating the Blinkmoth Nexus, but not doing so, which makes me think that Sean might have another play. Never mind, looks to be going for that play pre-combat. Going to activate that one, and that is going to lead us to a pretty sizable swing for 3, which still isn't a lot, but it's starting to represent a lot in the coming turns. 3 damage now, going to put Vince to 16, but now, next turn, if Vince does not interfere with this game plan at all, activating that Blinkmoth Nexus again offers up 5, 6, 7 damage, which means that Vince would be at 9. With a Nykthos coming down, it is going to help produce some of that, and a Mirran Crusader coming down. Again, a ground-ridden creature, going to still have a little bit of difficulty applying a huge amount of pressure, but it does offer 2 white symbols to that Nykthos. Fiendslayer Paladin, that does sound sweet. What's up, Alex? It's good to see you. We're going to untap on that side of the battlefield. No mana available on Vince's side of the battlefield. Doesn't need to worry about path. Does play out another Blinkmoth Nexus, actually has the option of upping that damage to 8 this turn by activating the Blinkmoth Nexus onto the initial Blinkmoth Nexus, or could... I don't think that it's... No, the Arcbound Ravager isn't really increasing your clock a ton currently, and it looks like that might be the play that we're going for, activating that previously played Blinkmoth Nexus. Likely going to get in some damage, may just be activating to put the pump spell on it, and that appears to be the case. Alexis Bros, it's good to see ya, though note, I did win that game, even if I did punt massively 3 times in a row. That's pretty good. So a good amount of damage coming in. This is going to be a hit for 8. And let's deal some damage. Vince is going to be falling down to 8. Needs to come up with an answer immediately. Vince does run some number of board wipes, which could be serviceable here. Looks to be going for the top deck. It is a Ghost Quarter. Let's see if the Wrath of God is enough. But then the Blinkmoth Nexi are pretty solid. Better lucky than good. That's all I'm looking for. So it's an attack in for 2. Likely not blocking. Going to fall to 18. This screen... What is this, maybe? I don't know. A backup Mirran Crusader, but leaving up only those Ghost Quarter. This is mostly a way to stop the Blinkmoth Nexus, so it's keeping the Arcbound Ravager from attacking. It means that Sean is likely going to activate both Blinkmoth Nexi, and it is going to put Vince down to 1 with the current game plan, because he's holding up that Ghost Quarter. But with that other Blinkmoth Nexus, still not quite enough currently. Still not quite enough. Oh, you're right, the Thalia does make it a 5-mana spell. Hall of Fame for distance kicked? Oh, absolutely Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Looks to be actually saving the Blinkmoth Nexi, actually. Could go for a world... Okay. Because of the lack of wet spells, might also just be going for an Arcbound Ravager win, actually. And if Vince doesn't have a Ghost Quarter his own land, get a path... Oh, but he can't cast the Path to Exile. There is no possibility of a Path to Exile here. So actually... Oh, or it can just offer up that. can just swing for 4 and then Galvanic Blast the face. That also works, but also could have used that Arcbound Ravager for the last damage. There just wasn't enough there. Does have that Cataclysmic Gearhulk in hand, which also would have cast 5. Not a big fan of that card in this deck, but he likes it, and that's all that you really need. So that is going to take it down, and let's go ahead and move on up to the field and see if there's anything else in the field to watch here in another exciting round 2, because it's too much to handle. Catchphrase. See you there. Dang it. Transition. Hello everybody, it's good to see you. How are we all doing? My name's TJ, this is the Geek Fortress stream, streaming out of, that's right, you guessed it, Geek Fortress, located in Snohomish, Washington, which you can find at geekfortressgames.com. Thank you so much for joining, having a wonderful time here with 4 rounds of Modern. Just watched Affinity take down Mono White Devotion after watching Shadow Jund take down Burn. And of course in the round 1 we had Ad Nauseam taking down Jund for a change, though I still think that that matchup is a little bit better for Ad Nauseam than is often said. No, I don't think the Wrath was where you wanted to go, because those Blink Moth Nexi were looking pretty solid. You miss Modern? Oh, I do miss that Modern. Digging the tie? Oh man, this tie is great. Let's see what we can come up with and see if there are any more matches to be had. What is Shadow Jund? Yes, it is. So Shadow Jund is a new deck that it's basically a Jund deck that goes way low, only runs Tarmogoyf and Death Shadow as the creature base, unless of course you want to count the Street Wraiths, which are only made to really discard. You also run 4 Traverse. Then you run Mishra's Baubles, you run some Tarfires, you run all kinds of other stuff, and you become a really aggressive deck, also running 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Inquisition of Kozilek, Brutality, couple of Kozilek's, Polygon's Command, some Lilianas, and it's just all kinds of awesome. You're looking for a good card in Skred to beat Death Shadow? Skred ain't bad. Neither is Blood Moon. Okay. Are there any breakfast cereals here? Not many. Nope. There is the Captain's Crunch, I suppose. That didn't make any sense. I don't know. I'm gonna see about finding us another match. Excuse me for 5 seconds as I step outside of the door. I was never gone. Okay. How do you beat an 8/8 Death Shadow? You Skred it.
We're just waiting on one match.
Ah.
Game 3 of an Ad Nauseam match.
Against?
Bantel Eldrazi. It was a weird rules interaction with Angel's Grace and Ad Nauseam after the Ad Nauseam resolves, and then the Lightning Storm got pointed back at him.
So they had enough lands and you ran out of lands?
Yeah, he ran out of lands because you played a land first. And then because Lightning Storm reduces damage to less than 1, it resets to 1.
Right.
After he was already at negative 80.
Right.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's a weird interaction, and I think Bantel Eldrazi is about to take it.
So it's if damage would reduce your life, reduce
Total
it
to less than 1, it reduces it to 1 instead. 2-0 me. It's a really weird interaction.
Jensen, yo, what kind of tie you want? You ever eat a Crunchberry? Say no more. Oh man, that is brilliant. That's hilarious. This is
Now I want Crunchberry.
Now I want Crunchberry indeed. Alright, so that sounds awesome, and I think round 3 is getting posted.
We're very close.
Cool. Are you going to find us something sweet?
I'll find you something awesome.
Ooh, okay, I can accept that.
Yeah, that's
seems
good.
reasonable. What are you playing?
I'm playing Blue-White Control.
Ooh, Holy Diver version?
Maybe?
Is it running SRAM's Expertise?
No.
Then it's not.
I'm playing 4 Condemns.
So you're playing the Shadow Puncher.
Yeah, I am playing.
The Shadow Boxer.
I just want to play Death Shadow every round.
Can we call it Shadow Boxer Control?
I was...
That's a great
Sure.
name.
Why not?
If your matchup is interesting, but otherwise, you know, there's other decks out there too. Hey, we are on 4 rounds. How many players are we? You can just sit. Just no, you're wearing a green shirt.
I was
Don't
gonna
come
say
sit.
I'm wearing a green shirt.
Hold
That's
on.
not gonna work out well.
I have a solution here. We're gonna pretend that this is Coleman. I'm just gonna talk to this jacket
I was gonna say, hold on.
like it's Coleman. All right, hi Coleman.
Hi, how's it going?
It's so good. It's so good. How are you doing?
I'm 1-1.
You're 1-1, you say. That
Yep.
sounds very exciting. And your blue-white control deck is a brand new one?
That's correct.
Oh, nice. These player interviews are really starting to pick up here at Geek Fortress, would you say?
I think so. I think they're getting a little bit invested.
Absolutely. We're going to have to pretty good high five here.
Man, that was...
You went fast. I had to react.
Yeah, true. True enough.
No special effects budget spared. We spared no expense ever since we got that sub button.
Coatman. It's my superhero name. Is actually Coatman.
Really?
True story.
I did not know that.
Nope.
Do you wear a cape?
Nope, just a coat.
Cool. All right, I'll let you get back to your business, but have a good stream and all right, have a good tournament.
Yep.
Maybe
no
we'll see you in the
problem.
future.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Bye.
Not weak at all. Nailed that little bit. Nailed that bit. This was... Oh man, everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Until then, let's play a quick game that we've been playing a little bit recently. It's kind of fun. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's try. It's going to be a game that we call Fun or Fail. And when I say that we call it, I mean the Chromatic Blast came up with it. So, let's bring it up. Oh, we're close. All we do is we say, is this card a fun or is it fail? Melvin's new dinosaur... Yeah, Melvin's new dragon pet is significantly better than ours. Okay. So, what else have we got? Animate Dead. Card is definitely fun. Into the Royal. Kicker. Return target online creature if it was kicked. Draw a card. Actually, I do think that this is fun. I gotta give this card a fun as well. Got cool art. That guy's getting swooped up. Fun for the guy that plays it. Okay. Touch of Invisibility. Fail. Fail, fail, fail. Fail. Fail, fail, fail. Fail, fail. Fail, fail, fail. Fail, 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 fail. Though, quick note, the art on it is superb. Superb. The art is amazing. But a fail. Fail. Next. Friction Reclamation. Pay to life. Return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Fail. However, flavor text, great. Superb is a strong word. Ivy Dancer. Fail. Yep. Fail. Next. Enormous Baloth. The biggest Baloth. This card, fun. It's classic. It's a good one. It's a classic beastie beast. Its diet consists of fruits, plants, small woodland animals, large woodland animals, fruit groves, woodlands, fruit farmers, and small cities. Fun. Card is fun. Ironclaw Curse. Enchanted creature gets 0/-1, cannot be assigned to block any... Hold on. Enchanted creature can't block creatures with power equal to or less than the enchanted creature's toughness. Jinga-ding-dang-do! With the sub! Thank you so very much. You'll always be my enormous Baloth. Oh, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for being so awesome. It's good having you here, and you are great. Thank you for the support. Everybody, Jinga-ding-dang-do. Fantastic. Oh, fun. Fun, fun. Fun, fun. Fun, 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 fun. Fun, fun. Fun, fun, fun. Fun, fun, fun. Next. Sacred Mesa. It's got Pegasi in the art. That's what I'm first noticing. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice unless you sacrifice a Pegasus, but you get to put a Pegasus into play. Fun. Fun. Absolutely fun. This is great. Shattered Angel. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, you may gain 3 life. So very much fun. Also, great Valakut tech. Ish. It's great. Groundskeeper. Return target basic land from your graveyard to your hand. It's good. It's good. Should you teach her how to play with burn? Find out what she's interested in the game. Teach her to play with that. Being good at Magic is irrelevant when you're learning the game. Having fun is everything. Find out what about Magic appeals to her. Focus on that. Make it happen. Or at least just focus on the fun of it. Focus on the fun of that. I think that would be my best advice. If she would love to play burn, then burn is great. If she would hate to play burn, don't touch it at all. Siphon Soul. Deals 2 damage to each other player. You gain life equals to the damage dealt this way. Boy, that card is outstandingly medium. Meh. I'm going to say fail because it's not a fun. Oh. This art. This art, though. I want this helmet. I want this mask. I want this mask for streaming. I want everything about all of this. This card, fun. Fun, 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 fun. Yes, we will force the Cabal into their own pits. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Banalish. Oh, man. Of course it's fun because art. First Strike, you may play at any time. First Strike Flash, 2/2 for 3. Fun. Yes. Both Flash and First Strike are inherently defensive abilities. Putting them together on a card, just cool. Flash Knight. Cool. Gruul Warplow. Oh man, it's the first vehicle. Oh wow, it is the first vehicle. Maybe not the first vehicle, but this is definitely a vehicle. Totally forgot that this existed. That's awesome. And it has trample. This is great. 100% fun. This is 100% fun. Warplow. Wow, that art is amazing. Wow. Saskatoon Shred. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you here. You're great and awesome. And welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. We'll be back to the Magic soon. Getting ready for round 3. Having some fun with some fun or fail until then. Because this is a fun, not a fail. Look at this dog. He's so mad. Target creature gets +1/+1. 1/1 for 2. When one wolf calls, others follow. Who wants to fight creatures that eat scorpions? That didn't rhyme at all. I was expecting that to rhyme. Can I get that on a t-shirt? Yes. Fun. Fun, 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 fun. Yes. That's going to be fun. Seal of Cleansing. Fun again. Fun again. The name's Mr. Funnigan. Talon Sliver. The art looks all good. Yeah, sure. Why not? Fun. Slivers are always fun. Unless they're unfun slivers. Then they're fail. What else have we got? Give me random cards. Oh, this card's fun. This card is totally fun. I used to play this in EDH. I used to play this in Conspiracy. I did all kinds of cool stuff. Yes, 100% fun. 3 green, green, green. Fun, fun, fun. Also a fun card. The art, okay. It's okay art. I do like that the artist name is just Brom. Brom. Brum made. Gemstone Mine. Elf Mutant. Yes. It is a random card. Yes. Spellbook. Fun. Rakeclaw Gargantuan. 5, 3, 4, 5. Target creature with power 5 or greater gains first strike until end of turn. Wow. It's medium. I'll say fun. Fail. Failed mechanic. Failed mechanic. Abundant growth. Fun. I like that. Triskelion. Fun. Also fun art. Stasis Cell. Enchanted creature doesn't untap and attach it to target creature. Fun. I actually kind of like this one. It's cool. It moves around. It's super expensive, but it's an interesting design. Fun designs are fun, and it attaches. And again, this is an example of how it attaches both an ability of auras and equipment. So that's kind of fun. It's another t-shirt card, and it's way cooler. Target dwarf. This is a wolf with first strike. That target dwarf gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. And when that creature leaves the battlefield, sacrifice Heartwolf. Matthew Horton, thank you so much for that follow. It's awesome having you here. Sacrifice it. This is a wolf that the dwarves are riding. This is a battle wolf. This is a wolf that, like, your dwarf is like, yeah, let's do that. And so they leap onto the battle wolf. They gain the first strike and the +2/+0 of riding the battle wolf, and they go into combat. But if the dwarf dies, then the wolf died too. Oh, this is great. It's like an equipment creature. Love it. Fun. Beginning of each end step, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. Fail. Great art, though. Fun. Cool card. Very fun. Solemn Offering. Hi.
Hi.
What you got for me?
Don't worry, I'm back.
Oh, good.
Hi.
You lost your jacket.
I did lose my jacket,
It must have gotten warm out
but
there.
I did keep my coat.
So, what do we got up there?
You got Sean facing the wall, and you've got Luke on the other side.
Ooh, and is Luke on as usual?
He is not.
What is Luke on?
He is on Nahiri control.
Just got control?
Yeah.
Okay, just got Nahiri.
He might not actually be playing Nahiri.
So just got control.
Yeah.
That sounds
Also,
interesting.
I came up with a deck idea while I was outside. It's awesome.
Thanks for the heads up.
No problem. This is probably going to happen. It's Ensnaring Bridge Birds of Paradise deck.
Sounds perfect.
Yep.
It can't go wrong at all.
Nope.
Alright. Have fun out there. Good luck in your match. Alright, everybody. You heard it here. We've got a matchup which is pretty favored towards Jeskai Control, but Jeskai Control versus Affinity. The bright side is that Affinity's fast start, something like an edge champion, can of course bring a lot of pain. So let's see. Let's head on down. See you there. Yeah. What round is this? 3? Round 3, beginning here at Geek Fortress. See you there. I'll assume that they know that. So, they are going well. I'm almost convinced that it runs Doran in that one. Yep. Kessig Wolf run is probably the card you've lost the most to. Makes sense. That card's pretty good. So Scalding Tarn kicking things off. We're going to go for a beautiful island on Luke's side of the battlefield, falling to 19, going for a basic, and I suspect either suspending an Ancestral Vision or going for a Serum Visions. Serum Visions it is. You forget what the other jingle sounded like? No. What's the highest converted mana cost you can get away with in Modern? 15. 15 is the highest converted mana cost you can get away with in Modern. Otherwise, if you don't want to count that, then 11. So, looks like we do have some Helix in hand, a Restoration Angel. So this actually might not be running Nahiri. This looks to be running Restoration Angel, which makes me think that it might be Nahiri. because of the ETB there. Huh. But an Ornithopter coming down for Sean off after that Inkmoth Nexus drops down a Darksteel Citadel, kicking things back. Luke should be aware, and I expect... Oh, but does not have that Helix up. Does have a Remand available, which is outstandingly medium in this matchup. I would assume that it's because of that. A Remand is going to slow down that Steel Overseer, but my assumption is that Sean's hand has a pretty high density of powerful 2-drops. That is also an Aven Mind Sensor. What is going on? Is this like a Jeskai Hate Bears in the that explains the Sulfur Falls too. This looks perplexingly awesome. Could put down the planes. It means that you would now have the Helix available if you need to disrupt the Metalcraft from Sean for any reason. It also means that you can hold up some pretty good removal. What even cost that? Emrakul. Emrakul cost 15. Could be Geist. I'm not sure if I would run Geist in the Aven Mind Sensor deck, though. Looks like the Edge Champion does not have the tools to go for this. However, check this out. Luke is actually going to beat this. You let it down, you fire off a Helix at the Ornithopter, you can untap and then path the Signal Pest. Or path the Edge Champion. So actually Luke can kill this as it currently sits. That's true. That's true. Looks like he's going to... Oh, no, but he's got a Shockland in hand, so he's just going to play this in to get some pressure. I imagine he's going to play the White Source, and we're going to see a Helix and a Path on this Edge Champion. So a Helix there, it's going to put Luke back up to 22. A Path to Exile is going to give Sean an opportunity to, I guess, find a basic in his deck, and then we're going to start attacking in with this Aven Mind Sensor. Now, that's going to be pretty underwhelming in this matchup in particular. But, anyone know why Fulminator Mage is on a preposterous rise in price? Because it's excellent right now. It's a good blocker, it takes down lands, it hates out some lands. The card's just in a good spot. I like Fulminator Mage, that card's really good. Unfortunately, I don't have Fulminator Mage online. Also, it didn't get reprinted. It also didn't get reprinted. So, got no basic? No, and a lot of Affinity decks with the, when Fatal Push came in, a lot of Affinity decks stopped running basics to basically assume that they, would get hit by less of them, is kind of the mentality. And so far it seems to be working. Now Luke is in a little bit of a rough spot, has a lot of things to do with his mana, not a whole lot of removal. So Sean probably not going to be... what's up, Slowlaying? It's good to see ya. Then, probably just going to double activate the Steel Overseers and keep making some massive creatures, especially if any other creature can come down, but that Spell Queller is going to be hating out any of the creatures that can potentially come down. You are exactly correct, Hurt. Exactly correct. And it looks like it's a backup Edge Champion. Spell Queller coming on down. Going to be pretty difficult to beat that one. That's going to be exiled at the meantime. And a Cranial Plating coming down. Yep. So, Spell Queller takes down the Edge Champion. I don't like attacking into this. A, it just does not work against the current field. Probably just going to double activate this. And thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate having you here. You are a rock star. Let's see. Have fun, Orinel. Have a good one. So, we have got two of these threats. Could to start attacking with them. The big issue is that they're just going to be massive next turn. With a Snapcaster out, could go for a Snap Helix now while Luke can, because otherwise it's going to be exceedingly difficult to respond to both of these Steel Overseers. So Luke may end up just going for a main phase or on his turn Snapcaster removal spell. Otherwise, it means that he's looking instead to go for the path. But I think I might be looking to gain 3 life while I can. Looks to be the case. We're going to take down one of these, and we're going to go up to 25, which looks really good, but still need to find an answer. Sean does have these flying creatures. It's possible that Luke forgot about that, because Sean could actually activate the Inkmoth Nexus and start getting some damage in with that, in addition to everything else. Oh, man. I have no idea, Jumi. That's 2 years down the line. It's hard to predict. I'm not going to make any speculations for 2 years away. I did that. I did 1 4-year speculation, and after that, I'm just not going to touch it anymore because I nailed it. Cloudy Big Tiny, congratulations on the new job. You're right. I'm sorry. That does need to be updated. So, and on a good note, exactly. Okay. So, we are down to 2 off of the Vault Scourge. We're going to activate the Inkmoth Nexus. We could suit it up. We could activate the cranial plating over to it, and we could activate the Blinkmoth Nexus to get a counter over there. The big issue is that you gotta watch out for the burn spells backup plan. So maybe holding back the Vault Scourge as a blocker, but that doesn't feel particularly good. But you're sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage this turn with Infect. I think it is 7 Infect this turn. That is going to be coming in. So that is making it into an artifact. That way the Steel Overseer can go for it. Or this is going to just be casting something. Looks like we are going for an activation here. Thank you. Thank you so much, David Albire. It's good to see you. Thank you for the kind words. I truly am enjoying this commentating. I'm starting to develop those aspirations of a higher level. I've become... Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. So, let's activate and hit for 7 Infect. The only problem is that Luke has got all the tools in the world to beat that. Okay. And before I just like to talk, it's less than that. It is very much about the community right now. It is very much about the community. Okay. So, looks like we are going to be taking 7. I'm assuming they think that that is visible to me, so I'm going to say thank you to those players for being considerate enough to put that on there. My aspirations are starting to be... I don't know. I know that Doro's been saying it for a long time, but the more I do this, the more I think that maybe I could do this at like a higher level, you know? Maybe do it for Star City or Wizards. That'd be pretty bonkers. So 8 Infect. Let's see here. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, you're right, it is 8. I'm sorry. I missed the original Power and Toughness. This is going to put Sean down to 4. This is going to put Sean down to 4, which is going to be pretty brutal. Does mean that he survives through something like a Lightning Bolt or a Snap Lightning Bolt. Sean is going to be looking for a big swing back. Now, Luke really obviously signaling that he has got more answers in hand, and we do know that he has them. Both a Vendilion Click and a Restoration Angel. Not able to cast both of them, but interestingly able to do some stuff with the Spell Queller, I suppose. Yes. High Tide is... I would not call High Tide a control deck. I'd call it a very patient combo deck, but I would not call it a control deck, personally. Let's see. So, we're holding up. We could go for a Vendilion Click at the upkeep, but the draw step, but I don't like that a whole lot because it just makes you pretty vulnerable. I think the surprise blocker is a pretty impressive thing here. Jansith, thank you. David, thank you. I really appreciate that. Redstone to Snapcaster for Helix. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. The Helix is actually off the board, but you do have a Path to Exile in that graveyard, which means that you could go for that one. So, Bruno Batista Soares, thank you so much for hitting that sub. It's awesome having you here. Thank you for subscribing to the stream number 151. I hugely appreciate it. You are all incredible and awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. So, we do have an Arcbound Ravager coming down. Looks like Luke isn't prioritizing that one just yet. But we are going to see an activation here, likely for colorless. Going to move that on over to the Inkmoth Nexus. Most likely does need to watch out. Sean already revealing that he doesn't have anything else working in hand. With 25 damage on the table, does not get a whole lot to work with. Even in a world in which Sean pumps up this Inkmoth Nexus to survive the damage there, Luke has got so much time and likely is going to go for a Path to Exile there. TJ appreciates it. TJ appreciates it so very, very much. Oh, man. So, we have got the Restoration Angel, likely targeting that old Snappy McSnapperson. Looks like that is the case. It's going to be a surprise not blocker. Gotcha. Haha. And we are going to use it to get in front of, I guess, I might just try and fire off the Path to Exile before I block and then decide at that point. No sense in risking it if you don't need to. You could also just put it in front and see if Sean actually makes the mistake of offering that, but you have to go for it before damage. So maybe just offering the trade here. If you can just use a Restoration Angel and then swing, maybe that's where you want to be. Looks like it's the pump spell there. We are going to flash back the Path to Exile on it. And we are going to put it onto this Arcbound Ravager. You remember asking for a sub button? Hey, I remember that. I remember that. So, we've got Spell Queller, Restoration Angel getting in for 5. We do still have some flying attackers, but I don't think that Sean has the capacity to deal enough damage quickly enough. So this is actually going to knock Sean down to 3. If any lightning bolts are in hand, then or helixes, those are win conditions. Otherwise, Luke is in such a dominant position because for Sean to deal 25 damage back would be crazy. It would just be bonkers. Maybe another cranial plating. Let's see, with another cranial plating, you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. Well, I know that at least 151 of you asked for a sub button, so thank you to all those people for your continued support. It is genuinely amazing. It is just wonderful having you all here. Do 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 do. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Another Arcbound Ravager coming down to the field with the Vendilion Click. So that is what we've got in hand. or I guess no longer on hand on the battlefield. Still not enough. It's just not enough damage. There's not enough blockers. Sean's picking it up, and Luke is going to take game 1. The old Ravager plating Nombo, a classic. Yeah, it is unfortunate. But they're so good. They're both so individually good that it's worth it. It just is unfortunate. It's amazing. Like, it's actually unfortunate how often I've seen someone attack in with near lethal damage. Like, for example, like not a specific incident, but say someone's at 12, right? And the Affinity player, they suit it up with a cranial plating and they attack with their one creature and it's like 11 damage and they're like, yes! Yes! And they sack their Arcbound Ravager to put the last counter of damage onto their 11-11 or their 11-2 or whatever it is to make it a 12-2, except in doing so they lost one artifact and you've still got an 11-2. And it's just unfortunate. So from Luke's side of the battlefield, I see Isn't Staticaster, Wear and Tear. We've also got some timely reinforcements. That's all pretty good. That's all pretty good. So, let's see. Sean's going to get to be on the play. I expect lots of Arcbound Ravagers. Probably going to be bringing in some number of Thoughtseize. Could also go with Blood Moons if those are in the sideboard. Disabling Luke's mana base might be pretty good. Let's see here. I don't know. Okay. True. Looks like we've got 3 cards, so maybe some Blood Moon happening. Could be Gear per Aether Grid to play around the possibility of Stony Silence. Could also be Kinetic Stasis. The current Death Shadow deck is much closer to Jund than the old Death Shadow. It is 100% an evolution of Jund more than the previous Death Shadow deck. Could also be some Spell Pierce. Could absolutely be some Spell Pierce here. Yeah. Spell Pierce and Thoughtseize, those are reasonable. I like both of those. Fiery Justice. Yes, that card is sweet. Deal some damage, gain him some life, call it a day. The fact that people are now running cards like... Condemn just looks hilarious. Condemn just looks absolutely hilarious. I also love that Blessed Alliance gained a lot of value. Having them sacrifice a creature and then having them gain 4 life is pretty funny. If you are in a control deck to where that damage isn't as relevant or that life isn't as relevant. But the fact that Blessed Alliance's target player gains 4 life, not you gain 4 life, is just delightful. I'll play these. Haha, I know. Go back up to 14, you. Oh, you. Oh, you. Affinity? Yes, Affinity is delightful. It was actually the first deck that I ever competed with, like on a higher level. In like GP realm and going to some GPTs and things like that. That was with... I played Affinity for a long time. I actually wrote a primer on it. Fun fact. Yeah, big fan of Affinity. It's your current anti-Eldrazi Shadow Spice. I dig Big Game Hunter. That's also pretty cool. So it looks like this hand does have some Snapcaster, and Snapcaster's a pretty big issue here. We've also got a lot of lands, a Path, and a Restoration Angel. Could go for the old Path, Snap Path, and eventually land a... I love a world in which if a Helix is drawn, If a Helix is drawn, this just gets bonkers good, because then you've got Snap, Helix, Snap Path, Restoration Angel, Snapcaster for Helix. Oh, that's good. That's good. Glissa the Trader is good tech? Yes. I think it's the only card with First Strike and Death Touch printed on it naturally. I don't know. Interesting. So looking at some recent talk, blue-black Tezzerator with a Lantern Shell. Sounds interesting. Is it better than either deck for it, or is it just... I'm not sure if you're just weakening the Lantern. I'm not sure what you entirely gain there. Oh, Master of Cruelties. You're right. Master of Cruelties does have it. My bad. And Voracious Cobra. Alright, I was wrong. I was just wrong. But still, Gliss is great. So we've got a Memnite coming down. We also do have that Spire of Industry putting down into a Vault Scourge, which is going to knock Sean down to 18. Ooh. Can dig that. Trophy Mage with Scoos and throw on the last troll. Still looking at that same hand with a lot of removal. Put in a tapped creature to begin with, and we are going to have to fire off a path towards this Steel Overseer at the moment. In the meantime, we're going to take 2, falling down to 18, and that path almost certainly headed the way of that Steel Overseer. You don't... Ooh, this is a super, super patient play. Okay. Thought it was passing back. He was not. Was not. So, getting rid of that one, Sean does find the basic mountain. Alright, so there is a basic in this deck. Now we do have the 3 mana available. Could go into Edge Champion next turn. Could be in a play and equip a Cranial Plating. Luke doesn't have any mana up this turn, so not representing anything. Sean has got a free turn, mana to work with. If there is another bomb in his hand, expect it to hit the field this coming turn. A Cranial Plating is okay, but it actually only results in 5 damage being dealt for the turn, which is not phenomenal. We've also got Ornithopter appears to be coming down to the field. And that is a Steel Overseer. Looks like Snap Path is going to be finding its way into that realm. And we've got an attack for 2. So most likely what will happen is that Luke has to block, or has to go for the Snap Path on this turn unless he draws a removal spell. Did not. Leaving a turn open with that one is just asking for trouble. So we're going to see a fetch to 15 here. Snapcaster Path, it does mean that this Vault Scourge becomes the only attacking threat at the moment. Sean, with only 1 card left in hand, can attack with the Blinkmoth Nexus if what remains in his hand is wildly underwhelming, but Luke is starting to run out of resources. Next turn, your big resource is this Restoration Angel, which is good, but Sean might be able to get beyond it, depending on what he draws and what he's got in hand, but not doing a whole lot last turn makes me think that he might be on air. Tapping for 2 is always good. Oh, ooh, that's pretty good. We do have the ability to start casting Cryptic Command, however. Yeah, Affinity is interesting. Affinity really rides the line between being a blatantly powerful combo aggro deck or being a mediocre beatdown deck. Both are certainly interesting and enjoyable to watch. So, I've done that. So it looks like we're going to go back, or we're going to go up to 21. Luke staying at 14. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Having a co-host is always better, but doing the solo stream is certainly doable. At least I've gotten a lot more better. I've gotten better at it, I think. I hope so. So we've got a Flooded Strand coming down for Luke, and on Sean's side of the battlefield, he is untapping. He does have an Edge Champion available, but it's likely that this Cryptic Command is going to have something to say about it. Playing something pre-combat means that it's likely going to be counter and tap the team. Preparing for this to be a creature, it's an Arcbound Ravager. Do expect counter and tap the team. This matchup, this matchup is phenomenal for Jeskai. It mostly comes down to landing an Edge Champion and then getting really fast. Yep. Okay. That's pretty impressive, Renegade Coaster. Albzon Company, huh? Didn't tap the team, though. A little bit surprised to see that. I guess it makes a little bit of sense, though. It's going to be 3 damage. We're going to fall to that, and I guess Luke was just looking for more spot removal. Found a Vidillion Click. And that is a Galvanic Blast while Luke is tapped out. I actually like this from Sean a good amount. It's not great against the Restoration Angel, which he only saw once in these games. But, well, I guess, yeah. But overall, I kind of like it. Waiting until they're tapped out, making it to where all of a sudden Luke is at 6. It really drops down a lot of the pressure. And Sean, I don't believe, missed the life leak. He's actually 22. So, Serum Vision's firing off here. We did draw into a Lightning Bolt, which I believe that's a Japanese Lightning Bolt, and beautiful. Luke, if you're watching this later, that is gorgeous. And that may have been a Stony Silence on top. I don't actually know. But if it is, I'm actually not thrilled with the Stony Silence right now because this board is so... Stony Silence doesn't beat this board. There's no activated abilities by artifacts there. I actually don't like... I know that it sounds ridiculous, but I actually would put the Stony Silence on the bottom right now. But we are going to draw into it. Cast it down. Still dead to a lot of these draws. Interesting. Okay. Slim Shady EMB. You could run Dismember, and you'd probably be okay. It would hurt a lot because you wouldn't be able to bring it in for aggro matchups. It gets significantly worse for like aggro matchups, but it's still fine against the big stuff matchups. But your biggest issue with what you need to do is actually... Stony Silence. Stony Silence. The biggest issue is that you need to answer Wormcoil Engine more than anything else. Wormcoil Engine is like the card. And I'll have to think on what solutions can come up with that. So a Bolt there, a Snapcaster there, or maybe a Bolt in one spot, Snapcaster. So Snapcaster in front of the Mem Knight, most likely. They're probably going to put the Snapcaster in front. Taking... Ooh. But if you hold off... So putting it in front, doesn't want to die to that. Trying to stay at 3 as opposed to 2. Because otherwise... If he had been able to save that Snapcaster, if the math worked out, then but I don't think it would have. Could have had Restoration Angel Snapcaster to bolt again, but I don't think that that would have been enough. Condemn? I think that that is pretty bad in a burn deck. I think that's pretty bad in a burn deck. Chain to the Rocks. Now that's interesting. I like that. You win. You win. Chain to the Rocks wins in my mind. Remember that it's really bad against some stuff, though. Kozali Pride Mage, it's pretty weak against, so I wouldn't bring it in as much against those decks, even though you kind of have to. So, we've got a Vendilion Click coming down. We're going to block this Vault Scourge. We're going to take 2. We're going to fall to 1. Goodness gracious. I think the 1 mana is pretty relevant, Doro, but Deck and Stone is also not a bad one. It's also, like, incidentally good against some other stuff. We've got a lot of Path to Exiles. Actually, Double Path offers an interesting opportunity for Luke. If he can path the Ornithopter and the Inkmoth Nexus, he survives if there are no other artifacts that Sean draws. Crisp like Dylan, thank you so much for the sub. That's 4 months in a row. I appreciate it. You're amazing and awesome and incredible. That is 151 subs. I appreciate every single one of you. But Luke actually has the capacity to win this. Unless Sean plays an artifact. Like that. Exactly like that. So we are going to path this, and we are about to get blown up by Inkmoth Nexus. Yep, picking him up. Isn't the click dead from block? I suppose. Okay. Game 3. Game 3. Thank you so much. Crisp like Dylan. There's no Dylan quite as crisp as you, I imagine. My... Let's go ahead and Aganjo Castle. Yeah, I think the Stony Sun, like, it's so intuitive that it would always be good. But it just wasn't. It just wasn't. So, Aganjo Castle was running this deck. It also makes me wonder if Luke might be running something else. Cryptic is bad against Affinity. Cryptic is meaty, is not great. The big issue is that you have to have enough to bring in, and I would much, much, much rather take out Remands than Cryptics. Remand is just abysmal against Affinity. So, in that matchup, weren't they red and blue in the past? They were in the past, yeah. That should be blue and black. I think I know what you play. It's a lot of lands. Oh, is that an Engineered Explosives? Looks like one to me. And a lot of land. Against a very... Like, this actually looks like a pretty solid hand. You've also got Lightning Helix. You've got... Wow. Snapcaster Helix. Engineered Explosives and a Timely Reinforcements. That is awesome. Where's the Geist? I don't imagine that Luke is playing a Geist in the main deck, and maybe isn't playing one in the sideboard, and I wouldn't bring it in for this matchup under any circumstances. EE wins the game? Sometimes. EE often wins the game. I'm hesitant to say that it guaranteed does, but it's certainly good. Timely is super medium against Affinity. Agreed. But it's better than Remand. Fair enough, Alexis Bros. I'll look into that. I'll see if we can get some. Though actually we're redesigning the playmat, I think. But hey, if you're a graphic designer. Man. Well, we're considering redesigning the playmat. We just gotta figure that out. So, we've got another land coming out. We don't have Metalcraft just yet. We do have a Steel Overseer coming down, which is likely going to get hit by the Helix. Could be a Fetch Shock Helix. And it looks to be the case. Actually, it looks like it might have just been a regular old Fetch. Looks... Okay, so yeah, we are going to go, I think, to 19 off of this. Looks like we are. Alexis Bros, shoot me a message on Twitter or something like that. Shoot me a message, because that's one that I would want to get the store owner included in on, to see if he's interested. So, taking that one down, Sean still lacking a lot of pressure. This hand had to have something really good in it to keep this, because this hand is really, really not good. Having gone for the basic land, Luke is actually at 21, which was a little bit unusual considering that there is a timely reinforcements in hand, but maybe just trying to save it for a little bit later. Huh. Looks like we've got another Steel Overseer in hand. This might have had some of the motivation for it. But Luke is going to say, just like last time, but this time, I will Helix your creature. Looks like we do have that Steel Overseer out, and we do not yet... Ooh, so this is actually going to activate the Mox Opal as well. So actually, in response to this, great play by Luke, very heads-up play. In response to the Vault Scourge killing the Steel Overseer, it means that Sean loses the ability to activate this Mox Opal for the turn, because he no longer has 3 artifacts by the time that came in. If he had tried to do it at the end step, Sean would have been able to cast another spell. Now we've got things like Restoration Angel, Snapcaster Helix is a viable option now. And we might almost see it in response here. The big issue is that if Sean's got something to do, he would have done it. I think at this point it's more about waiting to see if he can hit something better, or possibly just maybe you can even end step a Restoration Angel, and then you can go for like an EE and just sweep the board. This looks like an Etched Champion. Engineered Explosives suddenly looking phenomenal. Phenomenal. I wonder if Sean brought in any Ancient Grudges, because Luke might have to take a turn off from activating this Engineered Explosives if he's targeting that Etched Champion. It seems wildly unlikely that Sean would, but it's a possibility for certain. So, it's an attack for 1. I like this play. It beats it. It means that you can start developing a clock of your own, and if Sean's got back up Edge Champion after Luke activates it, definitely starts looking pretty good. A Spell Pierce also looking excellent, Chillith. Good point. A Spell Pierce would be great, but a Stubborn Denial would not. And it looks like we actually do have the land, and now neither of them look particularly good. So, an attack for 3. Sean's going to fall down to 15. Might, with a Spell Pierce, might be able to get in 1 good hit. Is Luke running any Wrath of Gods? I do not know. I have not seen any, and I think Luke is too creature heavy to be running them. Between the spell, the Spell Quellers, the Vendilion Clicks, the Restoration Angels, the Snapcasters, I think that this is much more creature heavy than a deck that I would expect WoG to be in. Okay. So it looks like we're saving up Snapcaster Helix, not firing this one off yet. Luke may be just waiting to see what else. Oh, you're right. I bet. They got it. I clicked too much. And let's swingaroo in the other Edge Champion. Never have I ever seen an Edge Champion look so good. Or Engineered Explosives. If Shauna's got a Thoughtseize, now is the time. Instead, ooh. Wow. That's not too shabby. That is not too shabby. Yeah. The patience definitely did pay off. Getting 2 of these is huge. Huge. Personally, I would actually crack it now. Ooh, looks like Sean actually might have a response. Maybe a Galvanic Blast on the Restoration Angel? Looks to be the case. Gonna fall to 15 for his trouble. Gets to untap. I might have gone for that in the main phase because it stops the Mox Opal from being active. Or it forces Sean to do more work to have it active. So, we're going to activate one of these Blink Moth Nexi. We're going to move into the combat realm. And we're going to invite Luke to fall to 20. Apparently. I think I would have cracked it immediately as well. But we are going to lose it. Just Master of Ethereum, but if you crack it, it becomes a pretty small creature that you can answer. But I think it's more a matter of shutting off the Mox Opal. Though, the turn would have played out the same. Would have blown out the blast. Yes, would have. Would have made the Galvanic Blast into only 2 damage. You are absolutely correct. Moontoadfoot, I'm sorry you had a bad day. Don't have a bad day, have a great day, because you've still got time. So, that means that whatever time that, I'm not sure what time zone that you're in, but whatever time that you have left in this day, that is how much potential you have to make it a great day. So let's do this, let's have some fun, let's do some hype things, and let's make sure that your day ends on a note so positive that when you sit back and think about your day, all you can think is, thank you so much, I appreciate that, I love it, I love the cheers, I appreciate the support, and thank you so much for the compliment. The positive attitude is what I've got going. You caught me right when I was in the middle of it. We've got all this time. Let's make it a great day. Every single one of us can do that. Let's be as incredible as we can. To all 300 of you, thank you so much for being here. My name's TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream, and we are watching Jeskai Control basically annihilate Affinity. It's a good time, a fun time, and always enjoyable. So Akrina plating coming down, but we do have that lightning bolt to disable this. We also have got a snapcaster into the helix to disable that, and I like that one a little bit more. It means that you can start attacking with that snapcaster to develop a little bit of pressure. So, I am enjoying this. We've got the snapcaster in response. By the look of it, we're going to helix that one. We're going to go back up to 23, and we are looking A+ solid Rooney. Kinetic stasis mulliganing is huge. Also, just know your math. The nice part, Goose! Goose, thank you so much for the sub, Goose27659. I appreciate it. You're awesome and great. Thank you for your support. Means the world to us. It really does. Thank you so much, Reckons Gotham. I appreciate that. You are great and awesome. Thank you for joining the stream. It's a pleasure having you here. J Dolphins with the follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, the Snapcaster getting in and knocking down there. Major, thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. You are a rock star, just like everyone else. So, Nate used Twitch. Well, congratulations on using Twitch. Welcome to the game. If you ever do have questions, feel free to ask myself or chat. We'll do our best to take care of you. So, a Master of Ethereum coming down to the field with only 4 artifacts, actually. On the field, JKirk7474. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. We're going to untap. We do have this Snapcaster. We could even attack, but that Ornithopter also looking solid. Okara, Fladora, something. Thank you so much for that follow button. It's a pleasure having you here. I'm bad at pronouncing names. Apparently, names are not my strong suit, but it's a So good to have you here. Am I going to GP Vegas? Yes, I am. I've got San Antonio, got Vegas, got Portland, and I've got Oklahoma City on my agenda for this year. 4 GPs for too much fun. So we could go back into Sean's turn. Luke just playing a little bit of Drago at the moment. We do still have this Lightning Bolt to disrupt the cranial platings, though you got to be aware of how that works with the Master of Ethereum. Plus, there are a couple of those Blink Moth Nexi, which means that Sean is holding a lot of damage on the field. So, we've got 4 artifacts, make that 6 artifacts with that Mox Opal and that Darksteel Citadel. Now that that's active, the potential to have 7 because of the other Blink Moth Nexus, which might be going in for a pump spell. What do I think I'll be playing at the GPs? A safe bet for me is a red deck, but I'm certainly open to anything. Tacking in the good amount of flying on the field. Luke running a little bit light on options, but because of those 6 artifacts, we've got a 6/6 in the Master of Ethereum, plus we've got a 6/2 with the Ornithopter and a 2/2. Make that a 7/3 with the Ornithopter because of that Master of Ethereum pump spell. You're taking red, white, burn. Hey, that's awesome. That is super, super cool, Broken Pots. I'm glad that it's working out for you. Another GP? What about another GP? There's always another GP. I will be there. What would be the most ideal deck to go for that? Is a bit of control as well as aggro, if such thing. Grixis Control, DeBurnsey. Grixis Control. Okay. Oh, also Jund. Look up Jund, look up Grixis Control. So, we're going to Lightning Bolt the land. Interestingly enough, it cuts down on the artifact count. It does still mean that there's a good amount of damage coming in. Still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage coming in. 7 damage from the other. Means for a pretty solid amount. And that is actually going to put Luke down to 11. Does also have the capacity to go down a little bit more. Looks like with a fetch land between the 6 and the 7, that's actually 13. So that actually does put him at 10. Could start fetching. Does now have the ability to cast this Timely Reinforcements to both get the 3/1/1s, plus you can also gain 6 life. Nate used Twitch, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, and honestly, DeBurnsey, playtest both of them with some proxies. Proxy them both. Make sure that you are going to enjoy the deck that you go for. So, we have got ourselves back up to 16. And let's do some of that super sweet drawing. Have I not been streaming lately? I have been. Depends what you mean. I've been streaming, apart from last Sunday and last Wednesday, I think I've streamed every single day. No, I don't think I streamed this weekend. No, I did stream this weekend. I think I've streamed every day for the last, 2 weeks, except for last Wednesday and last Sunday. So, the Blink Moth Nexus coming on up. We are going to tap that team. We're going to draw a card from Luke's side of the battlefield. We do have 5 damage on the field. Looking down Sean, who is at 11. Also, they're doing pretty awful at the blocking duty. Might want to keep one of them up. Looks like we are going to keep one of them. What's food? What's food? Think he took 2 little damage? I don't see how it became 9 damage. The Ornithopter is just a 1/4. I don't see how they would have taken more than that. Because that has it powered, the Master of Ethereum is power and toughness equal to the number of artifacts, which was 6. And the Ornithopter just gets a +1/+1 boost for that. Okay. Well, part of it has been streaming from my home account. Hopefully that makes a difference. So, we've got the Blink Moth up on the field. We do have the Celestial Colonnade. We've got 1 blocker on the field. We're going for the flying at the moment. That is 1, 2, plus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage at the moment. Luke at 16 at the moment. Pretty safe at the moment. may want to go for some of that blocking. Let me go ahead and link what that home account is. It is Red Baron MTG. You can follow it there. Hope all is well. It is. Thank you so much, Doro, for the assist. I should have just let you take care of it. We are going to take that 10 damage and fall down to 6 from Luke's side of the battlefield. Still holding on to a good amount of damage, but keep in mind that this Celestial Colonnade really brings us up into the upper categories. This is actually a lethal amount of damage because the Colonnade provides 4, plus you've got these 3/1/1s. The Helix is a little bit of extra, but honestly, Luke just needs to activate this Colonnade, and I think Sean forgot to account for this. So even if you block, I would attack with the Snapcaster as well, but I guess the Helix seals it up anyway. So Luke represents that he also has the Helix in hand, and Jeskai control narrowly. After what looked to be a blowout, Sean came back swinging, actually turned it into a pretty solid game, but Luke in control for most of the game, just playing the patient game, and ended up making it happen with a Helix at the end. Oh, it's the Lightning Helix! To get a little bit historical for you all. But we're approaching the end of our round 3 with just a minute left, likely their last match, which means that our finals is coming up. Let's head back up to the booth and get ready for some more Modern here at Geek Fortress. Woo! Hello everybody and welcome to the Geek Fortress stream. My name is TJ and I am happy to have you all here. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that follow button and join us in the future. Plus, you also have the option of subscribing. But here at the stream, we are streaming 3 times a week. Currently, we've got Modern every Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesdays at 7 Pacific time, and of course, Saturdays at 6 Pacific time. Plus, we have got Legacy every 7:30 on Fridays. Or every Friday at 7:30 to be more correct in how we talk about that. Looks like Spicy Burb is our featured viewer of the day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Your name is great. It's spicy, and you definitely bring something into the mix. Sometimes that right pinch of spice can really add to the experience for everybody. Whew. Got to love it. They're overworking me? This is my schedule. Okay. All of my streaming is 100% because I want to be doing it. I, in general, have control over this stream and what happens with it. I have control over my home stream, understandably. I am looking at exploring potentially some other commentating duos as we enter into this new year and find our way through it. But we're going to get some finals matchups moving forward with it, and it should be a wonderful, wonderful time. Now, we should be adding Mondays back into the repertoire soon. That is my hope and my excitement. Lagan Unicorn, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're great, and I appreciate the continuing support. Keep up the great stream. I will do my very best for you and for all of you watching right now. Yes, that's exactly right. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Tell me more about what we've got.
Well, we've got the finals.
Ooh, and what is in the finals?
We have Ian facing the wall.
Ooh. Ian, always a fun player to have.
Yep. And we've got Patrick.
Really? Now, what's Ian on today?
He is on Kiki Court.
So, Kiki Cord versus Banteldrazi?
Nope, other Patrick.
Ooh, Jund.
Yep, that's the one. Well, there are actually 3 Patricks here today. In his words, it's a hat trick of Patricks. I wish I could think of that first.
That's amazing! Can
Yep.
you go give him a solid high five for me?
I will.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Oh, man. That is delightful. David, no, I don't think there will be any changes, but... Alright, so for the finals, Jund versus Keyboard. Thank you so much. Oh, man. That is beautiful. What's with the coat? Oh, Coleman's wearing a green shirt, so he can't actually come in and sit here. So we're basically just having an invisible Coleman pretending to be here. that's kind of what we've got. So, for the finals, let's head on down. Should have some fun. The plethora of removal and disruption from Jund does offer a pretty good route, but Kiki Chord's ability to have Chord to basically just tutor up whatever the Silver Bullet may be needed, or some of those value creatures, Voice of Resurgence, very good in this matchup. Depends on the number of Anger Gods. Should be interesting. Let's head on down, have some fun. I'll see you there. Alright, lining up on the battlefield, we have some not updated pictures. Any idea as to why they didn't reprint Mishra's Bauble? Actually, there are... Couldn't he just wear the jacket? He was. Melvin. So, let's see here. Court of Calling. So why did they not? Well, actually, I had a conversation with Ian just before this, and I think my conclusion is that there are two options as to why they didn't. The first one is that a year and a half, 2 years ago, when they were designing the set, they decided that Mishra's Bauble was about a $10 card for a long time, and maybe decided that it wasn't worth putting in the set because, well, $10 was played in almost no modern decks for a long time. The other flip side is that some of you who may have read the Kaladesh story may have heard or seen that we are going back to Dominaria most likely with the play Gatewatch jumping into a portal to Dominaria. Now, not jumping into a portal to Dominaria, to discussing that going to Dominaria would be correct, which may happen after Amonkhet. Which means that if Mishra is from Dominaria, a Court of Calling getting taken by this Inquisition of Kozilek, we do have a Path and a Wall of Roots in hand. Really good start by Patrick here. Which means that there is potential that when we go back to Dominaria, maybe 6 months from now, that maybe, we are going to be looking at a reprint of maybe an old relic of sorts, potentially Mishra's Bauble, which is still existing out there. I don't know, actually. So, we've got a Blooming Marsh coming down and a Thoughtseize. Ian's hands getting ripped to shreds. We have got a Wall of Roots, a Path to Exile, and a Restoration Angel. I might actually consider taking out the Wall of Roots. It will make my Tarmogoyfs look a lot better. It'll also make the Liliana look a lot better, though the Liliana Midas looks like another potential place, so maybe you take the Restoration Angel. Then, next turn, when Ian plays the Wall of Roots, you play out your Liliana and minus it. That also looks like a pretty feasible play. I think it would be an uncommon level card. I don't know. Bauble in the Bolas world? Maybe. So, we do have this coming down, and I think we are about to see a Liliana join the battlefield. Patrick taking some damage, and I expect a minus. Looks to be the case. Really just shredding this Kiki Chord to pieces right now. Mishra's Bauble could also just easily get something close to a functional reprint. I guess that's true as well. So we've got a Lightning Bolt coming down to redirect to the Liliana. The Birds of Paradise is joining the battlefield. So we are now... we know about a Path to Exile in Ian's hand as well as a land. A Lightning Bolt going to take out the birds, which is keeping that Raging Ravine from getting active for any time soon. Interesting. Attila DeHun, thanks for the auto host. I feel like auto hosts have recently become a lot more popular, and I'm not sure if it's a matter of like me seeing them or maybe being known enough to get auto hosts, or if it's more a function of auto hosts just becoming more and more feasible in the on Twitch, and I don't actually know which it is. 4 mana coming down. Do we have a Nahiri? Yes, we do. That's pretty good. Boy, top Talk about what you gonna draw. Drawing into an Nahiri is straight fire. Druss, 40,000. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's awesome having you here. You are a rockstar. What happened to Mishra and Urza died? Mishra was killed when Urza basically nuked all of Dominaria in order to end the Brothers' War, which was a massive struggle that tore the entire plane apart. Urza eventually died as a part of the legacy weapon, I believe. Oh no, his head was part of the legacy weapon. He ended up dying in order to defeat... No, I think it was part of the legacy weapon. He ended up dying in order to defeat, or something like that. What's his face? The Phyrexian leader. Yawgmoth, yes. Yes. Brothers' War was incredible. If any of you ever want to read a book, Brothers' War was one of the first books that they had. It's incredible. So, a bolt is going to take down the Eternal Witness. King Darius, thank you so much for that follow. It's good to have you here. We do still have this Nahiri at 8. Patrick dropping down this, might get the Huntmaster. Young Bob, 56, thank you so much for the follow. So, Patrick, with this Huntmaster, gets a wolf token here. Man, that's it. That's it. So the legacy weapon is what he ended up losing his spark as a cost of the legacy weapon to defeat Yawgmoth, and that spark was transferred into Karn. Yeah. Yeah. So we are going to. Oh, this. Do we? No. Tell me we drew the Restoration Angel. Tell me we did. No, it doesn't look like it. There's a Kiki Jiki there. Looks to be just going for a value creature. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Going for a Revelark. Phenomenal card here. I was thinking he may have drawn the Restoration Angel, which would be crazy. But the Revelark coming in is pretty awesome. It is going to be a 4/3. May have the ability to actually get rid of it, but let's go ahead and bring up the Revelark. That card is going to grind quite well in this matchup. Just going to deal 4 at the moment, but hopefully, as he continues to be able to cast this one later, when it leaves the battlefield, which is already going to be happening, it's not when it dies, it's when it leaves, return 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Well, we do have an Eternal Witness in the graveyard, as well as a variety of Birds of Paradise, or even the Wall of Omens. But a Scrim Sprite is going to come down, going to untap that, and we are going to get back an Eternal Witness and a Wall of Roots. That is awesome. Saddle K, have a wonderful evening. It's good to see you, as always. A Path to Exile coming down at that Huntmaster of the Fells. Looks like we're going to find a basic forest. Lose that one. Wow. Eternal Witness getting back. So the Revelark leaves, you bring back the Eternal Witness and the Wall of Roots to the battlefield. The Eternal Witness gets back the Path, which takes down the Huntmaster. Wow. Phenomenal Nahiri, Ian. Phenomenal Nahiri. An Abrupt Decay taking down the Wall of Roots. Maybe not the best route to go for this, but it does allow you to attack for 2 with this wolf. And it looks like Ian is okay with that, probably falling to 14 alongside Patrick, who plays down a Tarmogoyf. And with the amount of dice, so we've got instant, I believe we have Sorcery with the discard, we've got Land, Creature, and Planeswalker. I believe we're looking at a 5/6 with no enchantments currently in the battlefield. Okay. So. You're just joining in. Hashtag no filter. Is your Infect deck dead in the water now? No. Infect is actually still pretty okay overall. So we've got a Revelark out on the battlefield. It is a 4/3. And there's even a world in which you just double block up on this Tarmogoyf. But no, it's still okay. It's not nearly as powerful as it was, but it's certainly not a terrible choice to be playing. So we're attacking in, just going for the chump block, because eventually this Revelark is going to be great and able to buy it back and able to get back into that path to exile. So might almost just attack with the Revelark continually. That always seems like a pretty fun play to me. We've got 5 mana here. Ooh, Kiki Jiki with Revelark is insane. Oh my goodness. So Kiki Jiki 2/2 with haste. Tap to put a target non-legendary creature, a copy of it, until the end of turn. Making a copy, attacking with both, bringing back an Eternal Witness, getting back the Path to Exile, getting back the Wall of Roots, kicking it back, and if Patrick doesn't have the removal spell, woo, nice. Sets that one up. It's going to minus probably take down the Scrib Ranger more than anything else. But that Kiki Jiki and that Revelark are going to be an insanely powerful value engine. And Patrick's just going to pick it up. Wow. 2 4/4s attacking per turn, plus I'll get back 2 things that you've killed previously. Man. That is incredible. 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 Wow. That was awesome. Ian, I know you're going to watch back on this later. That was gorgeous. Patrick, if you're watching back on this later, that Nahiri was a phenomenal top deck. And it just went so well. Oh, that Nahiri double plus, get the Revelark, and have yourself a nice day. Whoa. That's crazy. That's just bonkers. I tend to avoid the conversation of bans, mostly because I have no control over them, nor do I have, I'm not Wizards, and my speculation doesn't really affect much. Also because it tends to never be a conversation in which anybody wins, because everybody has their own opinions. Yeah. I have my own opinions on them. But they rarely ever go well. Okay. Do 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 do. Do we have an Ian deck list? We do not, unfortunately. We don't actually collect deck lists. It's decently close to old school ones of Jeff Hoogland's. I know that Ian actually prefers going to some of the oh no, he doesn't like to over-engineer the deck so much. He thinks that tends to go off of the more original shell with his own tunes, and he had continually tunes that deck. The Scrib Ranger is actually a pretty cool recent inclusion in which he's actually running it because it does do some cool stuff to where if someone tries to remove the Kiki Cord or the Restoration Angel in response to activating the Kiki Jiki, what you can do is flash in the Scrib Ranger, untap it, and then activate it again. Love the suit. What's the occasion? Hashtag no filter. It's wonderful to have you here. I should give you a quick introduction. My name's TJ, and functionally every time that you see me on this stream, I will be wearing a tie. Now the suit, normally it's a vest, but I've been really enjoying this suit jacket lately. So occasionally I'll wear this. But I think that while I am doing this, while I'm doing this commentary for you, I think that it is in my interest and in my Emon YC. Thank you so much for hitting that follow button. It's good to have you. I think that I should be showing respect to all of you for taking the time to join me here. And in this particular venue, at home, I stream a bit more casually, and that's actually very purposeful because I dress like this normally. But I think that it is... I think that me consistently doing this gives me an opportunity to show respect to all of you, the viewers. And it just is a nice, professional is not the word that I would use, but it's a little bit more of a legitimacy to the stream. It's got a little bit of both going for it. Where's that to work? Actually, I changed my dress at work because of the stream. Also, I don't wear vests and suits at work. I just wear a tie. Okay. All the filters. Let's see. Would I rather have Fire Blast or Price of Progress in Modern? Neither. I don't need that kind of nonsense. Man. So, Raging Ravine coming on down as the turn 1 play for Patrick. Less hand disruption than we saw early on. Niall's Spellbomb, looking like a decent way to hate out some of the graveyard interaction. Mostly it's just Eternal Witness and a little bit of that Revelark. Does have a Tarmogoyf to apply some of that pressure. And we've actually got a Chandra, which could be a pretty cool engine in this matchup. No, Lightning Bolt, always a good one as well. So, is Fire Blast even good in Modern? That is ridiculously good in Modern. So, we have got a Path to Exile on the Tarmogoyf. Looks to be taking that one down at the upkeep so that it is ends up being a tapped land there. And we're going to go for a basic Swamp, so we don't have access to the 4 mana in our turn 3, which would be something like a Huntmaster starts getting a whole lot of value. And the Nile Spellbomb's still a decent option, but, oh man, 4 mana to cast that Chandra would be super sweet, and we drew a backup Tarmogoyf. That always looks good. So maybe we're going to play a Tarmogoyf and have the Lightning Bolt as a backup. That seems pretty good. But it looks like we're actually going for a tapped land, not worrying about bolting anything anytime soon, and just dropping down the Tarmogoyf, which looks to be currently actually not too impressive. It's just a 1-2. So, a Spellskite is going to come down to the battlefield. And Chandra coming down, eliminating it. So, -3 on the Chandra. 4 damage to target creature. Kills that Spellskite before it can get active and attack in here with that artifact creature in the battlefield. It does mean that we've got instant artifact and creature. Down to 16 for Ian, alongside that fetch. Okay. Oh, you keep trying to suck me back into the ban and unban conversations. You keep trying to suck me back into them. So, the Tarmogoyf, with a land entering into the battlefield, does take a little bit of growth there. Ian kicking the turn back does not have the 4th land. Coming down does have a Horizon Canopy. Didn't choose to draw a card off of that. May have a 3 mana play, potentially Path to Exile. We're going to take a look at the top card, and I am 100% casting that. Probably discard and 2 damage. Discard and 2 damage always looks good. Woo! How many boxes? Just 1. Just 1. Discarding a Nahiri off of this as well. So Ian does have a backup Nahiri. Explains that one. So we are going to take 5 here. We're going to go down to 9. We have a Nile Spellbomb. Ian is supposed to be 1 lower. I believe he fetched after combat last time, so I think that he still only got hit for the little bit there. Or do you mean the Planeswalker? You think that you, Oh, I think they may have caught up with it. I think they may have caught up with it, but the Nahiri is going to come down, minus down on that one. Ian currently sitting at 6 in a pretty dangerous position. The Chandra can put Ian down to 4, but could also just kill the Nahiri, and that actually seems like a reasonable play to... Oh, that also seems like a really reasonable play to me, but I've also just got double bolt in hand. I honestly would just play it. I'd just cast it and then double bolt. Yep. You know that you've got it. Just go for it. Alright, so we've got a game 3. Going for it. You know, I think there's a decent amount of argument to be made for just taking it. So, oh man, double bolt. Double bolt always looks good. Always looks good. So, what do we got here? Let's see. Yep. About these cards? Man. True. True. Ravine's also good. I'm mostly just excited about this. I'm excited to draft the Modern Masters set. I'm probably going to be doing that a good amount whenever I can, because it just looks awesome. Eternal? I have never played Eternal, but I actually haven't played any other trading card games at all. So, oh, I see you, Maeve. I see you. So heading into a game 3, Ian does get to be on the play here. Me llamo Juan Blanco? But your name is Juan Blanco. Am I willing to unbox my booster box on stream? Actually, I'd rather draft it. However, Dylan has said, I think Dylan has said that he is willing to give one of the boxes that, like, I think he's willing to open one on on stream for us. You normally don't tell me things to do, but do not under any circumstances try getting into Hearthstone. I wasn't really planning on it. It's not my kind of game. Sounds like it takes way too long to play. Like, to get it to any reasonable point. Hello, it is good to see you, Mahani. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But yeah, I'm interested. I think for a little bit I might start play. I'll probably keep playing Magic for a bit, but occasionally I might start playing some other games on stream. Currently looking at Undertale, looking at possibly Mass Effect down the line if my computer can handle that in streaming. Or actually, it's more if my internet can handle that in streaming. I think it can. I guess it wouldn't really affect the internet, would it? So I can double check that. So I've got a couple of things that I'm interested in. I just gotta actually start doing things. So, heading into the game 3 here. Looks like Patrick is down just a little bit. Both players, Ian down to 6. Patrick sitting on a healthy 7 at the moment. And Ian is going to kick things off with a Birds of Paradise. Solid start. A little bit weak to the Lightning Bolt that Patrick just drew, but may not even fire it off just yet. Looks like Patrick is going to probably be going for a Blood Crypt as my expectation. Has a basic forest in hand, which is going to supplement a lot of that necessary green mana. And it does mean that a Liliana becomes a pretty viable play on turn 3. Heading back into Ian's turn, we do have a Chord, we do have a Horizon Canopy, and a Basic Plains. If we do have the Wall of Roots, no, a Scavenge Goose, which actually does have a little bit of solid value going on right now. As it begins to eat this graveyard, it does have a lot of value for keeping Tarmogoyfs minimal, and with 2 of those in the hand for Patrick, likely the turn 2 play, it will help contend against them. The big issue here is that if Ian spends all of his mana investing into this Scavenge Goose, then this Liliana is just going to devastate it. It's going to make it look a bit silly, unfortunately, and that Tarmogoyf is going to get in for a sizable bit of damage. Ian holding off just a little bit does also have a Terminate as a functional answer. Liliana coming down. We'll see if Ian has got an answer. Could also Chord for a 1-mana spell. If you really wanted to save it, could potentially go for a bird in order to save the Scavenging Ooze. And it looks like Ian might be fetching, so let's see if he ends up going for something similar. Looks to be Oh, no. Okay. Just eating the cards. Gonna gain the life, and then we're gonna lose the scavenging units. So saving onto that one, and just going for the eat to shrink that Tarmogoyf just a little bit. So we're gonna fall down to 16 with this Tarmogoyf as just a 2/3 because of a land and a creature in the graveyard. So Ian drawing into his turn, he might be up to 4 mana there. Does have a Raging Ravine, which gives him the red mana, but he's also got the Horizon Canopy, possibly a Nahiri coming in, which would likely minus. No, that ain't bad. A Thrun, the last troll, hitting the battlefield. That's going to be pretty difficult for Patrick to remove. Wow. Needs to get another creature out next turn, however, is the big problem. So the Thrun looking fantastic. Or you can have the other Liliana in your hand. Take that one down. It gets you both a Planeswalker into the graveyard. You do have now a 3/4. Can play the land and attack in, knocking Ian down to 12. Unfortunate. There we do have the Raging Ravine or a Temple Garden, which can come down. Looks to be going for the Temple Garden for the 5 mana. Maybe just going to be going for a Chord for 2. Could be something like Voice of Resurgence. Might be a decent option because it's able to block twice with Ian down to 12 right now. Not sure if there's a ton of really notable 2-drops in the deck. He was the last. That he was. Looks like we are going to Chord. And we're going to fall to 9 for it. Wall of Roots blocks really well. That's not a bad one. Wall of Omens to draw a card. It does still survive the Tarmogoyf. Looks like Patrick, in response to the trigger, is going to terminate it. So Patrick is actually going to gain... I think this actually might be... Is it a 3/4 now? Or is it a 4/5? I don't actually... Yep, I think it is. So Ian's going to fall to 5. He did get to draw a card off of that. But with that instant entering into the graveyard, I think we're at a 4/5. We're going to fall to 5. Another Tarmogoyf is going to enter the battlefield. Ian's in a pretty tough spot at the moment, especially with this Horizon Canopy acting as one of the cards here. The Horizon Canopy means that if Ian has a 5-mana answer, he's actually still dead. So a Birds of Paradise coming down as a chump blocker, and it looks like we are going to sacrifice this to try and draw one answer. Path to Exile is what we're looking for. Maybe some runner path. Looks like it's a fetch land and a pass. Patrick starting to look pretty good here. Even just attacking all out seems fine, and that's going to do it. Alright, so... the poor Nahiri without the red mana. Had to make that call at a certain point. Unfortunately, had to decide whether going for the Chord for 2 or to play out that Stomping Ground, and unfortunately was punished with that Nahiri in hand. So, let's head back up to the booth and see if we can find anything else here in round 4 of 4 tonight at Geek Fortress. We'll see you out there. Hello and thank you for joining. My name is TJ. This is the Geek Fortress stream, and feel free to join us more in the future. Just watch Jund take it down with a neat 4-0, finishing up against Kiki Chord. Well done to Patrick on that Jund deck. Let's see if there's anything else out in the field that we might be able to move on over. I don't know, but I'll message Dylan. Messaging Dylan is the best way to go about this. Okay. So. Okay. We cannot, actually. Currently do not have that capability. So, still working on developing that. Turns out it's a little bit harder than we thought. So, right away. Riot away. Still, we got to see the new Shadow Jund deck today. That was sweet. We also got to see Mono White Devotion. We got to see some Affinity, some Jund. We got to see a little bit of that Kiki Chord. Overall, solid. Got to see Burn. Got to see Burn lose to Shadow Jund, which is always a positive, or at least it's a little bit more telling, but that Shadow Jund matchup does seem to be pretty positive in that realm. Yeah, overall, excellent. Overall, excellent. The Vintage Super League can do it, so can you. They don't actually transition through a bunch of different overlays. We do, which makes it a bit trickier if we want to do it well. And I don't want to do it half well. So, we don't currently have it. But yeah. Yeah, it's mostly because we want to make sure that we take the time to do it right and to the best possible capability. And it definitely does take a little bit of extra.
Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. How'd you do?
I went 3-1.
Boom!
Boom.
Nailed it.
Have a good one, man.
You too. Well, let's see if we can get another one. Are there any other matches out there? Maybe. Okay. So, what else? Oh, I got a knock.
No, there's one that's in the middle or something, and then none of them.
Okay.
So there's one left.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, it looks like that is actually going to be the end of our stream tonight. I guess that matchup took just enough time, and I guess every other matchup here in the final round went fairly swiftly. So with just one match still going, but they seem to be towards the end of their match, we are getting ready to call it a night here at Geek Fortress. But, ooh, stay safe out there in Ohio. Yeah, that sounds windy. But be sure to take some time, hang out tomorrow. Who won? That would be the Jund deck that we just saw. The Jund deck, which was super duper sweet with those Hunt Masters. And, of course, 15 words. What is best in life? What is best in life? Doing cool things with your friends is best in life.
Hi.
5 other words. That's all. Hi.
Hi.
I was told that we had nothing else tonight.
That's correct. We
Okay.
have two other matches. They are both in Game Foods.
Ah, such is life. Such is life. But I suppose we'll come towards the end. You're trying to filigree familiar in your sideboard.
Filigree Familiar is pretty good. I hear it gains life and draws cards. 2 things I'm very interested in doing.
Yeah. I'm not sure about in the sideboard, though.
What?
I'm going to guess Tezzerator, since it's Maeve.
Oh.
I think at that point, I'd
Sun
rather
Droplet's better?
just... Sun Droplet does seem better. I also just really enjoy Batterskull.
Solid.
Yeah, Batterskull's sweet.
Have you tried playing Legacy? It's a great place to play Tezzerator.
Oh, man. Alright, so I'm going to get ready to call it a night, and then I'll be streaming tomorrow, and I'll be streaming Friday, and I'll be streaming Saturday.
And a lot of streams.
Likely streaming on Sunday. Probably streaming Monday. If you're disappointed by my lack of Conan knowledge, why would it be best in life to crush my enemies? I don't want to do that. I'm all about building relationships, not tearing them down. You can't bring me down, and I won't bring them down. We'll build each other up. That's
True
what
enough.
it's all about.
Not a fan of the Chainsmokers. You can't bring them down.
Don't bring me down, down, down. Yeah, there we go. All right.
My references are on point.
Indeed they be. Okay, so I guess until then, we'll see you next time. Next stream will be Legacy at 7:30. Again, we are trying to get these Monday streams back up and running. It is looking promising to be back up shortly, or at least in the next couple of weeks. I will keep you all updated by email if you're subbed, or by Twitter at RedBaronMTG, and I'll just try and communicate that as clearly as I possibly can. And otherwise, we'll just have some fun in the future and do some cool stuff. But until then, we've got Legacy on Friday, we've got Modern on Saturday, and I will be streaming probably some Modern and doing that little bit of discussion in my Revelation and Mentality with Magic. Not Revelation, I guess. My
No,
correction.
you're not someone who really casts a lot of Sphinx's Revelations.
No, not often. But tomorrow will be a stream in which I discuss a little bit of a mentality thing alongside playing some games, and I'm hoping that it goes well, because I've never really tried anything like that before. Only one way to find out, isn't that right? So, from all of us here at Geek Fortress, located in Snohomish, Washington, I'm going to delay just a little bit to find out who we're going to host you on over to. And I guess that means that you'll have to get that corn out of my face, because this is the coolest mug ever.
Also, stay tuned for a special announcement. Just
Oh,
keep
you mean
watching-
your...
Keep watch on either one of our Twitters.
Yes! Coleman has got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm pretty hyped about it myself, and I cannot wait to see what it turns out to be. Hopefully, I'm as involved as I'm trying to be.
Yep, hopefully, just need to figure out logistics.
The logistics are the best.
Yep, I need to call Troy because I hear UPS handles logistics.
Ho 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 ho! Host Z-Magic? Z-Magic isn't even streaming right now. Yeah, he's not even streaming. We're gonna host Michael Majors. Because I have not seen Michael Majors streaming before.
That's true. Also, Tevin, don't give me ideas.
He isn't streaming Magic. No, I don't think he... Well, my thing just says that he isn't streaming at all. But, from all of us here at Geek Fortress, my name's TJ, and this Disembodied Voices.
Hi, I'm Coleman.
And whether it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, I will see you Friday, hopefully Saturday, and actually, just check out twitch.tv/RedBaronMTG tomorrow for some fun. Good night, everybody. You're all incredible.